Greetings and salutation, degenerate scum. To Pokemusu Smash or Pass 2. You asked for this because you were not loved as children, and so we are here. Somebody else who was never loved as a child, LumLum, has joined me today.
Shut up! So, if I was loved as a child and I didn't have all of these issues, I wouldn't be as interesting as I am.
That, too, is in fact true, yes. As we have been given the updated Pokemusu Generation 2, and I have to admit, I never even played anything of Generation 2. I was a strictly Gen 1 child, because by the time Generation 2 came out, this wasn't popular anymore in Norway, so I know nothing about any of these things.
I mean, don't really have to know much about any of them if you're gonna just say, yeah, I'd bang that one. No, I don't want to bang that one. God, why would I bang that one? That one will kill me. Or, man, that one will probably feel nice as it kills me. So,
fire is the answer.
I don't know. There's a lot of cultural context that should and could be considered here.
you ignorant slut.
Speaking of cultural context, my window is open and I just need to go check. That means there will be slightly less hot in my room. Fantastic. Right then. Let's get started on this degeneracy. With the first Pokemon being Chikorita. Chikorita. That is a dumb name for a Pokemon. With the description reading, the leaf Musu Chikorita is easy to spot with the large leaf they have hanging on their heads. They use said leaf to regulate their body temperature. Chikorita do this without thinking, and as such their leaf will often pivot and change direction somewhat constantly. Chikorita loves to bask in the sun and will settle in areas with lots of it. When the weather turns south, they will usually stay home, since strong winds are unpleasant to them. Stay home? They have homes? Pokemons have homes?
Yeah.
What do you mean, yeah? I thought they were wild animals.
And much like wild animals, they would make their own homes. Do you think they just lay out in the grass? It's like, yes, this is perfect. Lays down in the middle of a field, gets ran over.
Yes. Also, there's not that many trucks in the middle of fields.
I mean, if it's near farmland.
Actually, that's the thing. So deer pop up their little babies into farm fields because they're like, oh, there's lots of nice long grass here. And then the combine harvester comes and
yeah,
there's tiny pieces of deer.
I've heard many stories. I have heard many stories about that.
Yeah. So the next time you eat bread, chat, understand that there might be minced pieces of Bambi inside of your bread. Most Chikorita will dwell in remote communities devoted to the Radiant One. The what now? And those who travel elsewhere will usually find work at clinics. Most humans... Find work? They need work? What? Never mind. Most humans think of Chikorita as nurses that aid healers, as the Musu caring nature and affinity for nature magics give them great potential to do so. Chikoritas are especially skilled at aromatherapy, as the buds on their necks. Okay. I read cocks.
That's an N at the beginning!
And especially skilled at aromatherapy, due to the fragrant buds on their cocks. I like that better. And their hips can produce a wide variety of scents. That's true. That's actually true. My penis produces a wide variety of scents. Said scents are excellent at loosening muscles and stimulating alertness. I've never tried, but I'm assuming yes. With the talents Chikorita have, only the most foolish or desperate will attack Chikorita without cause, as such Chikorita rarely have combat experience or no offensive magics. Right. Well, I'm going to pass on this one because, as a rule, I don't touch anything with a penis. Pass.
It doesn't have a penis. And also, like, That would probably be, well, besides the whole aromatherapy thing, that'd be like the most boring vanilla sex in the world. Mm. Yeah, I'll pass just because of the boring vanilla sex.
Just because of the boring nature of it all.
Yes.
That reminds me. Can you read the screen here properly, or should I send you the images?
I can read.
You sure?
Yeah, huh.
Very well, Lum. We'll do every one other then. Also, I didn't keep up this. Lord Possum, Lum, please say Arch Ubaka like a schoolgirl. What?
Oh my god, okay. Arch you baka! There.
Your voice acting is getting better.
I'm still tired, man. That's not even that is tired Lum. There you go.
Yeah, Qatar, lies. I never asked for this. Lum has me tied to the chair. I don't believe you. Father Jack the Enlightened, Gen 1, Gen 3, and Gen 4 was peak Pokemon. I don't even remember Gen 2. And Sandy, why does degenerate Lum do this to Noble Arch? That is a good question.
Hey, I didn't do anything. If anything, you guys brought me in here. You guys paid extra to drag me in here.
Question mark. Alright, Lum. Bayleaf.
One can consider Bayleaf to be a sort of a metamorphosis for Chikorita, as all Bayleaf were previously Chikorita that have ascended to this new form. The nature of how this happens is kept secret to outsiders. Though, from our investigations, it appears that it requires a Chikorita to show exceptional kindness, bravery, and focus. This ascension changes them physically, magically, and supposedly spiritually. Physically, they get taller, their butts bloom larger, and the leaf atop their heads increase in size as well. Magically, Bayleaf can manipulate scents much like they could as Chikorita, though now they can use scents to inspire and change the moods of others. Usually, they use this ability to soothe the minds of others, like removing anxiety and sorrows of others. Though they do have the ability to affect most emotions at will. Bayleaf typically live in remote settlements with their Chikorita sisters. They help rebuild derelict temples and help weary travelers that stop by. As these settlements have minimal resources, they are located far from most cities. They experience few threats.
Oh, no, pass again. They sound too peaceful. The problem is they're going to use their aromatherapy to just make you go flaccid whenever anyways. So, no, pass.
Oh, no, you gotta think creatively, Arch. It says that they can manipulate most emotions. Which means, what if one's just kind of pissed off one day and it's like, you know what? I'm gonna make you feel things towards me, so come on, let's go. Come on, think of the right play here. Think of the emotional manipulation here. Smash.
No.
Smash.
Meganium. Herb Pokemusu. The Herb Musu Meganium is the final stage of the metamorphosis for Chikorita. By achieving this form, the Musu grows larger, the leaf atop their head molts, and the stem splits into two feeler appendages. Their ability to create and manipulate scents also increases dramatically, with Meganium being able to encourage and stimulate the healing process in man and Musu alike. Are there no... in man and Musu alike, so there's just no females in this universe. Well, that's good.
No, man, like human. People.
Oh, man. As in man.
Mankind.
Man, as in man, yes. Most Mekani are healers and leaders of Chikorita settlements. Their demeanor tends to grow calmer and more introspective as they reach this stage, with some confused with them being less passionate, though this is rarely the case as the Musu simply values the serenity of nature more than they did previously. Human depends on a Megumin tremendously, as their healing abilities make them experts in curing many ailments and even alleviating the symptoms of rare curses. Nearly all Meganium and their settlements are neutral territory and will aid and heal any visitors that come to see them with no questions asked. Additionally, Megani naturally exude a powerful calming scent that eases the aggressive tendencies of all that are near them. As such, attacks against Meganium are rare. No, giant, boring green woman. Not even that giant. 187 centimeters with the stem, presumably. There's nothing appealing about this. And those large, scaly hands. Oh, disgusting. Pass.
As it says, they grow more passive and everything like that as they, evolve and stuff. If it wasn't for the whole passive thing, I would say hell fucking yeah. Because imagine being healed while shoving your face into her tits. Ugh, it'd be nice. I would say situational smash.
See, I am of course a connoisseur of the deadlay, as is well known by now, but there has to be additional pieces, and they're just not here.
Yeah, fair.
Cyndaquil. Come on, Lum, talk about the Japanese. What even is that? Fire mouse. What is a fire mouse?
Cyndaquil is adorable. The fire mouse Musu. Cyndaquil is characterized by the sizable fire spouts they have on their backs. Windy weather often distorts the 4 spouts and makes them appear as a single fire source, but they are from 4 distinct spots on their backs. Cyndaquil have little to no control over them, and they'll often activate in times of duress. Cyndaquil are rather high-strung and prone to worry and panic. To alleviate this somewhat, they'll tend to build settlements at advantageous geographic locations. Jesus Christ. Like at peaks of hills and on sides of mountains. Humans know little of Cyndaquil as they're timid around strangers. Some traveling merchants have earned the trust of Cyndaquil communities, but it requires a great deal of effort to do so. The fearful nature of Cyndaquil leads many of them to collect and build their own forms of armor. However, this same nature prevents most from learning how to effectively use their armor or learn self-defense. Their fire spouts would be an effective way for them to protect themselves, but their lack of control over it makes it difficult to do as such.
Well, yet again, I'm gonna have to pass on this one, because imagine you're, doing the back shots the honorable way, and suddenly fire just shoots out of their backs, grilling you.
You have to think of positions here. You have to get creative with positions. Unfortunately, it'll probably be a lot of mostly mercenary. But also, she's just gonna burn everything. And then you have to just think of a fire resistance. That's a lot of planning to do. So,
yeah,
that's too much fucking effort for just a simple way. So, yeah, pass.
Yeah, it doesn't even work with missionary, because you've got her back on the mattress now, and now there's a fire in your house, so that doesn't really work either.
Yeah, it's mostly fire prevention, and also, who wants to bang on a rock? I don't want to bang on a rock.
Yeah, definitely. A clear pass on that one.
Mercenary, don't you mean missionary? Shut up! Also, mercenary sounds like a cool fucking sex pose, though. You know what? If it doesn't exist, I will make it exist.
Quilava. The Volcanomusi Quilava are the resort of Cyndaquil, gaining control of their fire affinity. This process allows the Musu to freely activate the fire spouts on their backs. The name Volcano comes from the Musu learning this mastery from seeing erupting volcanoes. That's very specific. Researchers don't know how this knowledge helps the Musu learn this ability, but they all claim that volcanoes are the key. Right. So they see an eruption and they go oh, I see now. I don't think I understand. That would be like a human man looking at a volcano erupting I can control my ejaculations now. No, that makes no sense. Also, did she grow shorter? 187 centimeters, 167 centimeters.
Oh, she did get shorter.
She shrunk.
I mean, not every evolution will make them bigger.
Apparently not. Many Quilava use their newfound abilities to find work as traveling mercenaries. Their newfound bravery and eruption abilities make them well suited for this. When not in battle, Quilava rarely flare their flames, so most people recognize them more from their minimal armor than anything else. Said armor is typically backless, so they can erupt their flames without damaging their clothing. This gives Quilava warriors a reputation of being reckless or indecent, which isn't always the case. In addition to their ability to manipulate the flames on their backs, Quilava are also impervious to fire. Both the fire from themselves and other sources, this makes them particularly effective when battling other Pokemusu or spellcasters that specialize in fire magic. Well, this is slightly more difficult, but I'm still gonna say no. It's just, there's something. I think it's the weird toes, maybe, or the fact that she grew smaller. No, I don't like these things. They combine in bad ways.
You're boring. Fucking smash, man. If she has control over the fires on her back, then it's like, hell fucking yeah. Throw her on a mattress, let's get fucking going.
No, like one of their signature movies, Buster Eruption. No,
that's her name. I think.
Buster Eruption. That's even worse. Although that would be a good name for a penis, I agree. Instead of just the Keemcock. Buster Eruption.
Buster Eruption. God damn it. You're boring. Smash.
Santim, I paid for no such thing, Lumi. I paid for eugenics. Well, and yet you're here. Curious. Yakutar, LumLum, mind control fetish is going to be a theme this stream, I sense. And Father Enlighten, yes, LumLum, the non-con queen, filthy T-Gen. At least I won't be flashing any pornography, unlike LumLum.
That happened once. And my stream never got demonetized. Ha. Okay. Typhlosion. Typhlosion is the rank that only the strongest Quivala, I can never pronounce that middle evolution name, can achieve. They are warriors of their clan to rise to the mightiest ranks possible. Ceasing to be soldiers and becoming legends. They still possess the signature fire spots on their backs, though Typhlosions are concentrated on the napes of their necks rather than their backs. This gives them less surface areas to draw from, though its intensity is far greater than any Quilava, whatever. Finding Typhlosion is no easy task. They're incredibly rare and go out of their way to seek out and protect remote villages threatened by bandits no one else will answer. Typhlosion's eccentric clothing make them curious sights to those not familiar with them, but their near nudity is done for pragmatic reasons.
Bullshit!
As their heat gets so intense, it can set most clothing alight rather easily. The heat and volcanic might of Typhlosion extend beyond the flames on their napes. Fluids from their body, including sweat, can combust in the heat of the moment or at will. Some warriors will use this attribute of theirs to create remote explosions, and others even coat their blades in sweat to cause explosions when they strike.
So they're Bakugo. No, it's not doing it for me. It's just not doing it for me. The weird little spinny chain things around her hips, the weird little double fangs. There's too much symmetry here. Reject.
Who cares about the weird chain things? They won't matter when you take them off. God. And also, imagine just the slight risk of always having the possibility of your lover just exploding. That would be fun, but I also don't want to die. Honestly, it's a reluctant pass. Maybe if I felt suicidal and I wanted to go out with a bang.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Like, at any moment, your penis could just be shredded into 1,000 pieces by backblasting explosions. Like, it's just not worth it, is it? Just not worth it.
Reluctant pass for me. Coward LumLum? Hey, there's plenty of Pokemusu out there for me to choose from. She will be on the last of my bucket list.
Oh, finally. Okay, we're talking now. Totodile, Big Jaw Pokemusu. Ah, there we go. We can see uses now. The Big Jaw Pokemusu. Totodile, fuck you, is aptly named for his powerful jaw muscles that give a dangerous bite. See, this is what I'm talking about, okay? LumLum is like, oh, wouldn't it be fun if I just exploded during sex? No, that wouldn't be fun. But a powerful bite, like... One of the attractive things about the fellatio is always the idea that at some point, a particularly psychotic female companion may choose to simply just clamp down. You know? You're giving a tremendous amount of trust to this person. Well, there's something to be said for that. Their blue skin often blends in with the waters they dwell in, but their red hair still makes them fairly noticeable to most travelers that are paying attention. Rivers and streams are where Totodile make their homes. They enjoy lounging in the cool waters on hot days. They live fairly carefree, spending most of their time foraging, feasting, and sleeping. For fun, they'll have biting competitions, usually testing their might on logs or trees. Humans are somewhat wary of Totodile, as they tend to playfully nibble on people, they're affectionate with. With other Totodile, this isn't a big deal, but their jaws and teeth can easily rend the human body with minimal effort. Because of this, Totodile that interact with humans will often wear makeshift muzzles if they don't think they can control their urges. Totodile skin is tough enough to withstand their own bite, which is quite a benchmark. Because of this, they can shrug off many physical attacks that would knock humans and other Musu unconscious. It also goes without saying they will bite in self-defense, and it will hurt. Right, we have our first smash here, definitely. This is the first one that is actually attractive out of the Pokemusu. Definitive smash. The muzzle just makes it better.
Just because you have a high chance of getting your dick bitten off?
Well, not that there's necessarily a high chance to have your dick bitten off, but the fact that there exists the possibility of having your cock torn off mid-coitus. Yeah, there's a part of that. There's a part of that that makes it a bit more exhilarating.
That's fair. That's fair, I guess. Well, to speak for the dickless, aka women, I will say smash as well.
There you go.
Crocona? Something like that. Fuck if I know. The Big Jaw Musu. Crocona is the result of Totodile going to live alone in the wilderness. This isolated lifestyle leads them to having stronger muscles, thicker skin, and more hook-shaped teeth, though these attributes earn them quite a bit of fear from others. As mentioned before, crocodile live away from society, most often in deep swamps and marshes, though some have been found near coastlines as well. The impetus, whatever, for most Sleeve society is their desire to not scare humans, as many human societies have deep-rooted prejudice against them, often believing them to be cannibals, brutes, and many other villains in their children's bedtime stories. However, extensive research show that crocodile have no greater risk of injuring humans than any Musu that is commonly accepted in human settlements. Though the fear from humans continues despite this truth. Crocodile have great potential in combat, though most foes are too intimidated to consider attacking them. In addition to their power within water, their speed is exceptional, allowing them to close distance between themselves and foes with ease.
I don't like the teeth. I don't like the teeth. It's
Coward.
too orky. I'm gonna go pass.
Coward, smash. She may not be super tall. Death by Snoo Snoo.
I mean, there is a point of it where you could gently reassure her that you're not afraid of her, etc., and then lead on to the Snoo Snoo, but I don't like the teeth. Oh god, okay, it got worse.
Death by Snoo Snoo.
Feraligator. Not gator. Feraligator. In rare instances, Croconaw can go even further beyond the capabilities and achieve the rank of Feraligator. That is a stupid name, and whoever came up with it should be deeply ashamed of themselves and should probably be deprived of having children. At this point, the Musu grows even larger and gains even more impressive muscles. Their jaw muscles also become stronger, though the Musu typically use their teeth far less often than their less experienced counterparts. Feraligator live in swamps and often attract other Croconaw who follow them as leaders, though Feraligator seldom take their position seriously, resulting in hijinks. This lackadaisical perspective continues throughout the rest of their lives as well, as they rarely plan or seek out large goals, choosing instead to relax and do what makes them comfortable. Because of this, human finds them less fearsome than Croconaw in general, but Feraligator still don't trust humans very much. With their great strength, Feraligator rarely bother using anything aside from their sheer force to overwhelm those that threaten their lands or themselves, though their massive size and reputation is often enough to dissuade those that would do them harm.
Smash.
Reluctant smash just because of the sheer size is... There's something mildly appealing about that. And Freyna sent 500 warp tokens. Thank you very much, sir. That's the thing about eating vegan. In general, farmers have to kill all the animals trying to eat the crops. Well, killing animals is not a bad thing. It gives you sausages, and we all love sausages, don't we? I do believe we do. Boog, Uma Musume smash when? Just all of them, basically. To Jard Art, I dated a girl with cannibalism interests that had never occurred to me. Underrail. Oh no, there's a whole genre of women out there who have like fetishes around either being bitten or eaten or other such things. It's just one of those things you've just got to kind of file under the general genre of woman and mental derangement syndromes.
You know, there's a video that I'll actually send you about romanticized cannibalism because it's honestly very fascinating.
No, you don't need to do that. There's no...
No, it is so good. Tail Foundry does a great job with the video because, like, you know, a woman's urge to bite, like, just for some reason, it can link back to romanticized cannibalism because, you know, you're not eating the person, but it's still the act of biting down on their flesh.
No, you don't have to send me anything, LumLum. In fact, the deeper into your own corner you remain, the happier we will both be.
Arch.
Touch fluffy tail.
Centret? I think that's its name? Fuck if I know. The Scout Musu. Centret is named as such for their natural inclination to act as... Oh. Centret, I see. Inclination to act out as lookouts for humans and Musu settlements. This stems from their incredibly high levels of anxiety, which can be lessened by being vigilant for potential dangers. Their long, prehensile tails and keen eyesight aid them in this greatly. With the Musu's natural instinct for being watchful, they most often find jobs in settlements as watchtower observers and other similar positions. Few of them have talents for fighting, so joining other parts of law enforcement is often out of the question, but most settlements are happy to accept such faithful lookouts. Centret are most frequently seen in pairs, as the Musu feels unsafe by themselves and want to have someone with them to ensure their safety. While they can feel at ease around non-Centret as well, they prefer to know that one is watching their back as attentive and paranoid as they are. Fighting is not an option for Centret. They're far too high-strung to be of use in combat and will typically panic in any kind of chaotic situation. Only the most strong-willed Centret are able to function in such situations without running straight away.
So this is actually a thing that is true for certain like species and stuff. I think it's like those like dumb little prairie dog thingies. They do this. If you have a prairie dog pet, you have to like buy it a stuffed animal pet that can stand up and do guard duty, because otherwise, when you sleep, they need to be awake. And like, unless you are on sentry duty, then they have to be on sentry duty. And so they just never ever sleep anymore. So that's the thing. And this is a definitive smash. I mean, high anxiety, constant paranoia. Yes, there's all of these things are things that make for excellent partners.
I also say smash because, okay, so it's like the anxiety is a plus when they're alone, but if you want her to calm the fuck down, you get 2 of them. So, yeah. Smash.
Yeah, that's an obvious one right there. Oh, it gets better. Okay, finally we're getting out of the weeds and into something interesting at long last. Furret. The creatively dubbed long body Musu, Furret are named as such because they are in fact long. Fucking revolutionary. I can imagine the researcher discovering this thing and going like, what shall I name you? Takes out a measuring band. Well, you are long, so you are the long Musu. Fucking fantastic. I kind of hope they can't understand humans now, because that must just be weird to them. So I'm just long. Yes, you are the long ferret. Okay. That's all I am to you, a long furry, yes. Because the Musu generally prefers to walk on 4s rather than on their hind legs, thus their height is referred to as length. Okay, Okay, right, so this is also a thing. There are actually women out there who prefer to walk on all 4s, and I don't know if I can be sexually attracted to a woman that walks on all 4s. I don't know. That's, like,
There's a difference, Arch. There's a difference, because her legs are built differently than a fucking weird woman looking like a retard walking on all 4s. You gotta think about that.
I mean, I get that. I do, but man, that's a challenging thing to gain an erection from. That is a challenging thing to gain an erection from. I'm just saying. Furret are actually the result of centret. What the fuck is what centuries? What? Overcoming their crippling anxiety. Oh, and learning to go with the flow. I'm comfortable walking on all 4s. Thank you. I'm just going with the flow. This change often results in a pendulum effect in the Musu, as they go from worrying constantly to never worrying at all. Many human Musu alike can appreciate their good natures, though others find their propensity to nap in inappropriate places obnoxious. Many attempts have been made to convince Ferret to use their abilities to help others. Though most Furret are so unfocused they can't accomplish the goals asked of them. They do have great talents and abilities, it is just rare to see them using them productively. Most aggressors have trouble keeping up with Furret speed. Additionally, Furret like to create elaborate tunnel systems for fun and can easily jump into them to evade pursuers.
Smash. I love her.
I don't know about this one. Like, on the purely visual spectrum, I agree, a clear smash, because she's adorable and she's got that little kitty mouth. Like, yeah, that's wonderful. But fucking a quadruped,
Ignore the quadruped thing, and also with them being so lazy. Maybe it's a little more interesting deadlight compared to the first batch.
Maybe. Yeah, reluctant smash. I get conditional smash. Oh, and then it did get worse again.
Oh, I love Hoot Hoot. The Owl Musu. Hoot Hoot are renowned across across the Johto provinces for their skill in telling time. A strange-sounding skill for sure, but all Hoot Hoot have an innate sense of knowing the exact time without tools or other aids. At first glance, many assume the Musu has a single leg, but they do have two. They just follow an old trend of standing on one most of the time. Because of their nocturnal tendencies, many Hoot Hoot will live in remote areas to avoid disturbances during the day. They also prefer to live somewhere with a clear view of the night sky, as many Hoot Hoot enjoy astrology, astronomy, and general serenity of stargazing. Using their sense of time, Hoot Hoot can construct highly accurate clocks that are used throughout Johto. These clocks are handmade and more accurately physically made, as the Musu lacks fingers. Hoot Hoot gain their innate sense of time from a mystic connection to the stars and other celestial bodies. This, however, doesn't translate well into combat abilities. While their limited psychic talents can be used for minor telekinesis, it can't be used to launch potential psychic attacks. Because of this, most Hoot Hoot avoid fighting. She's cute. I want to feel her soft feathers against me. Smash.
I don't know about that.
Is it the talents?
Yeah, the talents are pretty bad.
Stop focusing on one thing.
No.
I think it should be a rule. You can't complain about one. You have to complain about more than one thing.
No.
So just say outright pass.
No, I'm kind of passing that one too.
Ugh.
Noctowl. The owl Musu Noctowl are a rare find in the Johto region. They only prowl about at night and hardly make a sound when they do so. They also socialize little, making them difficult to track down without connections. With their talents for subterfuge and swiftness, Noctowl make for excellent scouts, spies, and assassins. Few can see farther than them in the dark, and fewer can spot them when they don't wish to be seen. What they can't see with their eyes, they can pry open from others' minds with their psychic abilities. Noble families bend over backwards to recruit Noctowl talent. This would put Noctowl in competition with one another, however. There is an accord they hold together to prevent them from coming into conflict with each other. This accord states that Noctowl cannot be asked to target their sisters or to protect targets or objectives that other Noctowls would seek out. Those being targeted by Noctowl are often killed before they're aware of this. In the rare chance a Noctowl is caught, they prioritize slipping into the shadows for another surprise attack, as this is where they excel. Right. I mean, they just sound like bad people, but yeah, probably Smash too.
Oh, but I thought the talents would be an issue, Arch.
Not as much this time. What the fuck?
Ladybug? It's a ladybug. I think
Who
she's
says
pronounced
so?
Ladybug. Ladybug? Whatever. The 5-star Musu. Ladybug are known as such for their propensity to group up and fly in star-shaped patterns. The reason they trend towards the specific pattern isn't known at this time, though they almost always surround themselves with other ladybug as they get paranoid when alone. Though this isn't noticeable when they're together. Man, is this just the anxiety-ridden generation of Pokemon? Jesus. Most often, Ladybug will create or join communal farming settlements, where they harvest tall trees with their flight. Some also live in more wild forests if they are abundant with fruit-bearing plants. Humans appreciate the talents of Ladybug, whatever, and will trade for their crops. Despite Ladybug lacking strong speech skills, their expressive gestures and ability to communicate through sense allow most humans to have a little trouble communicating with them. Often the Musu will trade for coats and whatever, to help them keep warm in the chilly times of the year that they abhor the cold. Excuse me?
Oh,
Ladybug. Kotatsus. Okay. Ladybug are considerably weak and have little to no natural defenses against aggressors. Some argue that Ladybug are actually the weakest of all Musu, though many researchers are convinced as some rare individuals have shown exceptional potential. Always in groups.
Smash.
Lots of cuddles. Lots of cuddles. Lots of kisses. Smash.
Yeah, smash.
Sir?
Oh. Also, brief
Hi, Gwimbus.
intermission
Sir?
to avoid the playing of loud noises. Uno momento, chat. There we are, back again. There we are.
Why'd you leave the call? You could have muted, or is it a whole I had to leave the call thing?
No, I had to close programs that were running, and they were going to be loud.
Ah, I see.
And I have now closed them.
Okay.
Lydian.
Share your screen.
Lydians are the result of LumLum being screen shared by people. If I can find the button. Oh no, it went away. LumLum! Panic!
What?
Panic, LumLum!
Oh my god, Arch.
The screen went away.
Yes, because you left the call!
There. Now back now. Don't be so panicky. But they become more independent, either from desire or necessity. They differ from their sisters by being nocturnal, claim that the Wishmaster blesses them during the night. Whatever this is true or not, we can't be certain, though Lydian on average have greater accuracy and strength during the night. They live in forests near Ledibur settlements and not protect their sisters from potential threats. Most Lydian do this by dual-wielding bows with their extra arms. That is retarded and needs to end right now. Though they have also been seen using trap slings and other atypical weaponry. Humans seldom see Lydian, as most live too remotely to be found by humans. Even Ledibur have little contact with most Lydian, as they are rarely active at the same time. The most consistent way to contact a Lydian is to leave a message with offerings that Ledibur give to their protectors. While they're known as protectors of Ledibur, Lydian is still quite weak when compared to the sheer strength that other Musu possess. This is why most Lydian use unorthodox methods of combat and avoid direct confrontation when possible. I mean, ambidextrousness have certain advantages, so smash.
Smash.
And Gwimbus, will Lum 6.0 beat her 82% smash rate from the last time? Will she be more degenerate than Arch? I think chat knows the answer. I think chat knows the answer
I've already
indeed.
been more degenerate than Arch. God.
Smash, although slightly reluctantly, as those are weird feats. I don't like that.
Spinnerack, I think. I don't know. Hidden in the depths of the likes of the Ilex Forest and other unsavory places, one may be ensnared by the webs of the Spinnerack, whatever. This six-legged Musu rarely confronts others directly and will instead place webs throughout their territory to trap victims to eat. Said victims are sapiens and die horribly. I love her already. They live isolated from other Musu, Spinnerack, and humans as well. Choosing a life of solace among the wilderness, it's believed they're more active at night. So if their territory must be crossed, do so when the sun is out. While most humans steer clear of Spinnerack, some brave encounters with them to obtain their webbing, as their webbing, when processed, can be made into universal anesthetic and is that's incredibly useful for surgeries and other medicinal procedures. Whatever. There have been some controversy over the JGM's Johto Guild of Medicine dealing with Spinnerack, as it's rumored they trade bodies to Spinnerack in exchange for their webbing. Some go as far to say when the guild runs out of bodies, they make more of them. God, just gets better. Spinarak rarely have to fight directly and will avoid such confrontations when possible, preferring to lead their foes into their traps instead. Smash. Smash. I don't care. Smash. I love her. Smash.
Pass. There isn't even a hole to get inside of there. Besides, getting eaten alive mid-coitus is just a really shitty way to go.
I mean, if you were to look at the Monster Girl Encyclopedia arch, it's usually at the front, right where it's supposed to be. But it's just, in between there, two little feelers.
No. You're just being weird again, Lum. Just being fucking weird. As per usual, I may add. Ariados. They say once a spinrat tastes the blood of 100 souls. Jesus. She morphs into an even more vile and abominable form called Ariados. We need to genocide these things. Scent form is larger, stronger, more duplicitous, and most importantly, possesses a unique sticky web that traps prey more effectively than their sisters' counterparts. Ariados aren't capable of teamwork. They can't even live in the same forest with other Musus without wanting to kill them. As such, when Ariados appear somewhere, said inhabitants vacate quickly, either from the area or from this world. It's not Ariados' tactics or poison or strength that humans fear, it is their unique and seemingly limitless cruelty. Few die quickly from Ariados, with some being drained of fluids until they can live no longer. Others will be released by Ariados and allowed to flee without realizing the thin strand of Ariados' webbing has been attached to them the whole time, and the Musu is using their victim to lead them to more prey. While the Musu is strong, it is vastly prefers to engage with the element of surprise on its side, and will rarely make an attack without it. Right, genocide.
God, she just kept getting better.
Genocide.
Art.
Genocide.
Art.
Genocide.
You love damaged women and ones that are openly hostile towards you.
Genocide.
Is it just because she's a spider?
Genocide.
You are weak. I know this is a guaranteed fucking death for me, but hey, if I could sacrifice bodies to her so I can keep living while shoving my face into her tits, hell yeah! Smash.
Genocide.
Crobat! Look at her! The Bat Musu. Crobat are the result of a newly discovered phenomena in the region. One we refer to as an ardent shift? Whatever. A process where a Musu experiences such extreme emotional state that their form and mind shift in the process. Crobat's ardent shift occurs once a Golbat finds a person that they have overwhelmingly loyalty for. Crobat are far rarer than their Golbat and Zubat sisters, and their numbers are so few that accurate population data is difficult to collect. Additionally, most Crobats live in secrecy as spies or assassins for powerful individuals, which only adds to the difficulty of finding them. When a Golbat changes to a Crobat, their oaths become ironclad, and nothing will shake their convictions to the ones they pledge themselves to. As part of this agreement, they drink the blood of this special someone regularly. Failure to do so will result in the Musu's weakness and eventual death. The battle capabilities of Crobat far exceed those of their Golbat sisters. With their unusual leg wings, they're able to fly faster than most Musu and do so silently as well. Their technique is so advanced they can easily slip through psychic barriers that were previously thought to be impregnable. Smash.
Smash. Well, the whole, loyalty until death thing is kind of hot. Chincho. The Angular Musu Chincho are known for their back antenna that casts a large amount of light in their unique cross-shaped pupils. Said pupils give Chincho the ability to see exceptionally through bright light and deep darkness. Chincho are amphibious by nature and tend to live in shallows near human settlements. One particularly large colony dwells at Olivina Harbor, though they've been seen throughout the region as well. Sailors have great reverence for their Musu as they act as natural light houses for maritime sailing. Many shipping companies will also have a Chinchu aboard the vessels to act as signals to harbor and other ships at sea, which they do so by lighting their antenna at specific patterns to mean phrases like SOS or run aground, etc. The amphibious biology of Chincho makes it difficult for them to excel at ground or sea. Their flippers are okay at swimming and capable of walking on land, but they aren't particularly fast at either biome. Because of this, they depend on their ability to discharge energy from their antenna to defend themselves. Smash. What do you object to, LumLum? Is the feet not good enough? You don't like the feet? You don't like the feet, do you?
I said smash.
You don't like the feet.
She's adorable. I love her. Lantern. Oh, she's so cute. The Light Musu. Lantern are the results of Chincho moving deeper into the ocean and adapting to the environment. They lose the ability to traverse land in exchange for more specialized fins, and their light becomes stronger to lead them to see let them see longer distances in the depths of the ocean. Since they no longer possess feet, they instead travel the ocean floors and cruise with other water musu. They give their bands unique names and make flags with skulls on them to wave around. Oh, I love her. They're often disappointed when they try to wave them above the surface and realize they're too soaked to blow in the breeze. Human sailors are incredibly wary of Lantern, as their mischievous nature often leads them damaging, pilfering, and even destroying vessels. Most Lantern don't mean much harm, but their propensity to do pranks and bizarre moral code makes them a threat regardless of this. Lantern's jovial disposition and unintentionally dangerous nature mean they rarely are attacked, and as such, many of them don't know what to do when attacked. Because of this, many will panic and overreact to threats with indiscriminate electrical discharges in the water around them. Smash.
Fair enough, Smash. Just a little psycho girlfriend. Who doesn't like a little psycho girlfriend? Tiny Mouse Pokemusu. The smaller mouse musu, known as Pichu. Pichu? What the?
Service guarantees.
Yeah,
Pichu are the tinier versions of Pikachu.
That's just a dumb name, and they should be ashamed of themselves. With Pichu being the result of Pichu going through an ardent shift. Their primary difference is their lack of control over electrical energies. While they can create and somewhat guide electrical magic, they're far more prone to releasing it uncontrolled bursts. The cutting up of sentences damages my dyslexia in ways that are difficult to truly describe. For a Pichu to become a Pikachu, they must gain an intense desire to master their electrical abilities. This can be done with many different emotions, though the most common is simple frustration. Humans tend to stay clear of Pichu, as their sudden propensity to release electricity makes them incredibly dangerous to be near. Though this isn't by choice, as most Pichu are rather friendly and will help out those in need when they have a chance to. With their small frame and wild magical tendencies, Pichu have few means to defend themselves. Some would be aggressors, may be dissuaded to bother them on account of their electrical potential, but more prepared brigands will bring enough protective material to deal with their ineffective attacks.
Smash.
Careful, Smash, yes, with slight hesitance due to the fact that you'll have your penis shocked repeatedly, which is not necessarily a desirable experience in many cases.
Oh, hush. Remember the electric cockades that you were looking at a few months ago?
Yes.
Basically that.
Yes, but
Pichus are just basically tiny electrical cock cages.
But I don't know if I want a tiny electrical cock cage. What I'm saying.
You won't know unless you try at least once.
I mean, that is technically supposedly true, yes.
Cleepa. Oh, she's so cute! Never has a soul of this terrestrial body been privy to the inner workings of the Cleepa, I think, yeah. The so-called star-shaped Musu, where they derive this title is mysterious, as they aren't pointy like a star. Rather, they're soft and garishly, unnaturally pink. Garishly unnaturally pink. No habitat is known to house the creature, nor is the creature particularly suited to any such area. They bear no permanent settlements either. They simply appear in locations, often in groups, but not always. Said appearances overlap frequently with strange atmospheric events, such as a ball lighting and aurora borealis, even in this part of the country. They flee from most humans that approach them, no doubt hiding some nefarious secrets in their tight bodices and sickeningly sweet hair. Even I, a king, cannot find a way to meet with one. They simply ignore any approach with the same cutesy grin. What are they hiding? Can't cleave a fight? I haven't the foggiest idea. None have tried to threaten them, most likely from fear. The tools they carry may actually be weapons, but they're like nothing we've seen, and many attempts to collect them and result in them crumbling to ash when removed from the moonlight. Why? What are you? If you can catch one, smash.
Yeah, definitely. 143 centimeters, hiding secrets inside of their buttholes. Yeah, definitely smash.
I mean, look at those hips. That hip to waist ratio, perfect.
The hips too. Igglybuff. That is a terrible name, and it should be ashamed of itself. Balloons, when invented, were originally called Igglies, since they floated in the air much like Igglybuff and were also quite rotund. Ah yes, this is what passes for overweight by the Japanese standard. However, due to offense taken by Igglybuff, they were changed to the names we know today, though many balloon sellers still call their balloons with iconic Igglybuff swirls. Igglybuff tend to dwell near human and Musu settlements as they yearn for the attention of others. They're incredible, emotional, and will become agitated if ignored or if someone else gets more attention than them. Most often they seek attention through beautiful singing, though they have weaker vocal cords than their Jigglypuff sisters and thus can't sing as proficiently. The positive attention from others give Igglybuff more energy, which converts into strengthening their singing ability as well as their other characteristics. Once they receive enough positive energy, they undergo an ardent shift and become Jigglypuff, which gives them greater vocal control and a significant magical potential as well. Unfortunately, while they are Igglybuff, they lack any significant way to defend themselves and are reliant on others to protect them. Yeah, that's a definitive smash. She sings more prettily as you fill them with more and more attention.
So yeah, smash. 100%.
Togepi. The Musu researchers of I shouldn't read two in a row. That's LumLum's job. Why don't you...
Gosh dang it. The Musu researchers of Johto initially dubbed Togepi the Egg Musu, as it's one of the few Musu known to hatch from eggs. However, mages of Kanto refused on this account of them already giving the moniker of execute. Whatever. After numerous petty fights and scandals between the factions, the Kanto researchers won, and Togepi is now called the Spikeball Musu. This decision would later lead to a very similar situation with Pharaoh Seed, but that's another story for another time. After they hatch, Togepi still have pieces of their shell on their skin. Said pieces aren't attached strongly, but the Musu is still hesitant to remove them for personal reasons. Togepi impact the emotions of others passively, both as eggs and when hatched. For positive emotions, they absorb and amplify them all around them. For negative emotions, they absorb and dampen the emotions for those around them. Either way, onlookers will feel better in the presence of Togepi, though constant negative exposure will make Togepi feel ill. As an egg, Togepi are remarkably durable, able to withstand earthquakes, extreme temperatures, and even lightning. It appears that only noxious poisons and forged iron can harm them in this state. Smash. You just gotta peel off that front shell part. You know what? That could be like, if it's still attached, It shows that she's still a virgin. 2, it could be part of foreplay. That'd be fun. Smash.
Pass. Too small. Togetic happiness, Pokemusu. It is said when a Togepi finds true love and the last of her shell sheds off, and revealing a pair of wings. This marks their ardent shift into Togetic. While many consider their wings to be majestic, they don't actually need them to fly, though the wings do help them steer when flying at fast speeds. Because Togetic ardent shift is inspired by a specific person, they typically devote themselves completely to the well-being of said person until their dying breath. Should the Togetic live past said person, they'll mourn for a year and a day, then afterwards pledge themselves to spreading joy to others, so the word may feel a fraction of the love that Togetic received in their life. Togetic are quite rare in the world, but those that have been seen them would describe them as benevolent saviors. Seen them would describe them, who travel from place to place, aiding those in need. Some people even pray to the Musu, though they'll generally discourage this when they encounter someone with this mindset. While their shift makes them stronger than they were as Togetic still experience great pain when in the presence of strong negative emotions, making fighting out of the question for most Togetics. Smash.
Smash. Natu. Yeah. Natu are dubbed the small bird Musu, which is a title they resent on account of them not being terribly small. Petitions have been sent to request the name be changed, but no decision has been reached yet in this regard. Some requested names include the Scrying Musu, the Clairvoyant Musu, both of which are more useful as they actually refer to Natsu's unique psychic abilities. Said psychic abilities benefit from quiet locations, which is why most Natsu dwell in remote villages that enable them to concentrate better on their rituals. The most sought-after ability they possess is Future Sight. Many unaware humans will seek out Natsu for their talents in seeing the future without realizing how limited the ability truly is. While the Musu can project their consciousness through time, they can only project one of their senses at a time, and only project to a relatively small area as well, meaning it takes multiple Natsu performing this to gain any remotely useful information. Though Natsu dislike combat, they do practice a form of competition called Lucha Mente, which involves Natsu pairing off to test each other's psychic strength against one another. Smash.
Smash. Fair enough. This is just a decent looking little Pokemusu. Xatu. They say when Natu perfect their future sight, they attain the rank of Xatu. No longer limited by short bursts of future sight, Xatu can see the future at will. Xatu are incredibly secretive, as many people seek them out to take advantage of their powers. Xatu adamantly refuse to do this, as they claim that all futures where Xatu share their abilities with others end in catastrophe. When projecting their consciousness into the future, Xatu can also see how it may split between different potential futures, based on their own actions. That's why they typically stay as still as possible when projecting, as even small deviations from their footsteps can create multiple branching futures that would cloud their interpretation. One might assume the ability to predict the future would be great in a combat scenario, but there's only been one confirmed case of Xatu in combat, that being a spar between two Xatu. The result was both Xatu passing out from exhaustion before a blow could be landed. As the pair constantly observing and reaching each other's potential moves created a sort of infinite reflections, effect that pushed both of their clairvoyant abilities to their limits.
Smash.
Fair enough. Smash, yes. Oh.
Mareep. Oh, I love Mareep. Oh, I can only imagine how soft she'd be. The Wool Musu. Mareep are called as such because they're the largest suppliers of wool in the Johto region. Said wool is naturally electrified and requires trimming with specialized wood shears and removal of electrical magics by mages to be usable. Yet, despite these hurdles, their wool is used above all others for sheer output, as Mareep can grow a full coat within a week. Mari's friendly disposition and interest in social environments encourage most to live in herds adjacent to human settlements. Here they have access to all they need, and humans can easily acquire their wool as well. Human and Marip relations are a go-to example for the benefits of Musu and human synergy, with both groups complementing one another incredibly well. The electrical wool that covers Marip remains charged until the Musu completely discharges the energy, which is a fairly long process to do, making them a poor choice to target for many aggressors with conventional weapons. The Musu can use effort to charge it further, but they lack the means to project their power the way other electric Musu can, making them reliant on human efforts to defend them against anything beyond bandits. Smash.
I mean, smash, yes, but their fur is always electric. Their wool is always electric, which means every time you so much as touch one of them, they're going to pass 10,000 volts directly up your cock. I don't know about that.
They can discharge it. They can discharge it. That's why you plan. You can plan. And also, like, I wouldn't want her to completely discharge it. Have a little bit, like, you know that feeling
of tingly sensation.
Yes, like, you know that feeling of when you would turn off an old TV, you would put your hand on it, and it has that little electricity. I'd want that feeling.
Fair enough. Fair enough. That is a fine argument. Smash. Fluffy, technically. If a Mari pushes the limits of their wool's electrical storage capacity, they'll find they can increase the voltage they can contain per fiber. This will cause a significant amount of wool loss in their body, and the remaining will be deadly for most on contact, but the wool that remains will be exceptional quality. This new form they refer to as fluffy. Many fluffy. A price for their flair for fine fabric formation and take position as royal seamstresses or even musus for noble houses. Because of the ever-present danger of someone being electrocuted by touching fluffy wool while they're charging, the musu tends to keep themselves to themselves fairly often. Many attempts to bring awareness to the risk of touching fluffy's wool have been attempted, but all fall short as the people say they're too fluffy to resist. Like Maripi, Fluffy aren't able to project their electricity outwards effectively. But like Marip, this isn't a problem, as attacks are far more likely to be hurt themselves by coming into contact with Fluffy than vice versa. No. The prickling sensation is a fine argument, but the shock to death sensation is a less fine argument.
Yeah, that's fair, but you just have to avoid touching their wool. As long as you don't touch it, you won't be shocked to death. So
yeah.
You know, have her put her hair up. Don't touch the wool. Maybe, you know, have a nice firm grip on her thighs, and then you just go to town. Smash.
But if she forgets to shave even once, you're just dead, which seems harsh to me. Pass. Through simple necessity.
Empress.
Amparos? Amp? Because I'm probably assuming amp. Amparos? Amparos?
I don't know. Amparos. I keep seeing the PHA as like Pharaoh.
Yeah, Ampharo. Ampharo, maybe.
I don't know. She's now dubbed Amparo. Once a Lappy, whatever, reaches the apex of conductivity in their wool, said fibers reach a breaking point and sheds off permanently. This final collection of wool is called a golden fleece and contains great power. The nature of this power varies wildly from fleece to fleece, with some able to manipulate weather patterns, others granting immunities to other magics, and many others. The source of this variant is currently unknown. After this transformation, Flappy are referred to as Ampharos, the light Musu, as they no longer have wool after their transformation. Achieving this point is quite rare, and few Musu that do research this point have become celebrities of the Mario community and surrounding areas. Most Pharaohs, whatever, live in luxurious accommodations as they generally sell or donate their golden fleece to a lord or noble. That individuals will compensate either by becoming the Pharaoh's patron for life or giving them enough money to buy a prestigious villa. Without the wool to absorb their energy, Pharaohs gain impeccable control over their electrical powers and are able to project it as lightning as well as blinding lights. Most Pharaohs, whatever, don't care for battle, though, and have seldom need for it. So there's a little data on the specifics of these abilities. Smash.
Yeah, like that. She's just adorable. She's just an adorable little Pokemusu. I dub my fleece Cry Thunder. That's a bit weird.
Weak to pass on the others just to smash the final form.
Yeah, but she doesn't have fluff anymore, so she probably isn't as electric. And she's rich. She's a sugar mommy.
Okay, Arch. She still has electrical abilities. Gain the impeccable control over their electrical powers and are able to project it as lightning as well as blinding lights.
Yes,
so she doesn't have passive.
She can control it. That's the point.
Lum, you coward. I said smash. I didn't say pass. I said smash.
So as long as she control it, all is well. Very important she can control it. Otherwise, it's bad. Blossom. Cantonian scholars have claimed for centuries that gloom are destined to either become abominable vile plumes or wallow in self-induced solitude as gloom. But there is another option. If a gloom is cherished and loved instead of merely tolerated, they undergo an ardent shift, becoming a blossom. Blossoms are far more cheerful than their gloomy sisters. They don't have the foul smell of gloom either. However, they do still have medical abilities like gloom, but far more enhanced and multifaceted, with tea made with blossom leaves being a common panache for minor ailments across Johto. Scholars believe that other regions were unable to discover blossom because of their refusal to engage with gloom, while Johto was able to find them because of their heavier reliance on gloom's medicinal abilities. This has inspired some researchers to try and form positive bonds with other undesirable or dangerous Musu to see if a similar change could occur. The pollen of a blossom can have a variety of effects depending on the blossom's needs, including rejuvenation, paralysis, lethargy, and even illness. This makes it difficult for aggressors to approach blossom, let alone attack them. No, pass. Too small.
Jeez. Coward. Smash.
I have been told reliably by Twitter now that being attracted to 20-year-olds is pedophilic, so being attracted to a girl at 144 centimeters is definitely pedophile behavior.
Weak. Smash.
Reverend Norse, how can you be so bad that you can't read a simple compound word of feral and alligator? Put it together. Because it's not alligator. That's why. A toddler could deduce that. You aren't dyslexic, you're an alienot. Lumi Salgon Fund. That's already funded, though. Yakata, you see, LumLum, loyalty is hotter than bloodthirsty murder spiders. That is correct. That is true. Mithrael, why don't you read the trainer tips? Because they're probably gay. Literally. Ooh.
Marl. The Aquamouse Musu. Marl are often noticed from their bulbous tails that sit atop of rivers even when the Musu is in the depths below. This is because most Marl are divers that search through river and ocean beds while their buoyant tails stay floating on the surface. Most harbors have sizable Marl populations within them or in surrounding areas. Marl that don't dive themselves will typically take up jobs as merchants, shipbuilders, and sailors within the harbor they call home. Though most still recognize a Marl's tail in the water as a sign of salvagers specifically. Sailors and boat makers appreciate Marl for their aid in removing ship wreckage from waters. Additionally, the presence of Marl tails on the surface of water is a strong warning for sailors to keep away, as there's likely hazards just below the water surface. They, however, don't appreciate the Musu's propensity to sell back sailors' possessions from wrecks they scavenge. Marl have the little ability to battle and often rely on strength of others to protect them. when on diving assignments. Their lack of offensive options makes them regular targets from lantern piracy. Yeah, lantern piracy. Smash.
Smash. Yes, smash. Definitely. Aqua Rabbit Pokemusu Azumarill. The Aqua Rabbit Musu Azumarill are the result of Marill pushing themselves to the limit. Most often this happens when Marill tries to save someone they find drowning. In these moments of crisis, the Musu's manivascular system goes into overdrive, giving them enhanced speed, so-called huge power, and amazing underwater hearing in addition to their new form. Said as most Azumarill's transformations are a result of rescuing others, they feel obligated to continue doing so. Often they'll form dedicated rescue teams that operate out of harbors and coastal cities. Azumarill are considered important members of society for the rescue efforts, but they take their jobs incredibly seriously and have such strict self-impositions that the personnel that work with them often find them grating. While they don't appear threatening at a glance, Azumarill aren't lying about their huge power. Despite their muscle mass not being exceptional among Musu, they're able to push the muscles they have far beyond that one would expect, allowing them to break through shipwreckage and debris with ease even when swimming. And thus they were nicknamed the Thunder Thigh Musu. Yes. Smash. Definitely smash.
Smash. Sudowoodo. Oh yeah, Sudowoodo! The one with the silly name. The imitation Musu. Sudowoodo is creatively named for their innate desire to impersonate trees. While they do their best to perform tree mannerisms and live in forests, they are made of stone and not any plant or grass type adjacent material. They are known to construct elaborate disguises to help them appear more tree-ish, which can help, but when removed from the woods, it's fairly obvious they're not trees. Sudowoodo typically live in dense forests, wooded copses. I don't know. Words are hard. In other places, they can blend in with trees. They spend most of their time immobile and are usually only seen moving during a rainstorm, as water is incredibly uncomfortable to them and they cannot stand the feeling of it on their skin. Legend tells that the Radiant One heard the wishes of a sorrowful mountain that dreamed of swaying in the breeze with the trees that surrounded them. Her brilliance took pity on the mountain and granted the wish, shaping them into a grove of stone trees. They say that this was the birth of Sudowoodo. People tend not to attack trees unprovoked. And the occasional lumberjack that encounters a Sudowoodo can usually figure out they're a Musu before axes are drawn.
That's just weird. Pass.
Pass, just because they're weird.
Yeah, pass and because they're rocks. That doesn't sound pleasant.
Yeah, that's fair. But I also don't have a dick, so I don't have to worry about, like, you know, having any of that fucked up. Smash because woman privilege, and also, I don't know. She seems like a fun lay once.
I mean, maybe, but again, like, all I hear when I'm seeing this is that classic little meme animations of Yoda. Oh, smash my cock with the rock I must. Maximum pain I must endure. That's just a big no right there. That's a big no.
Yeah, mine's just a one time, you know, I gotta try it once smash.
I have to try crushing my cock with the rock once. Who knows?
I
might like it. Here we go.
I don't have a cock. I don't have that issue.
Polytoad. The Frogmusu Polytoad are the rare result of polyworlds finding what's known as a king rock. Said rocks are actually a piece of earth that the Almighty stood upon when she birthed the earth, sea, and skies. In religious texts, this were called the terrain of testament. For some reason, an infusion of energy from this earth makes them green. As the name King Rock suggests, the Musu affected by its magic gains more leadership qualities. In Polytoad's case, this enhances their voices to be able to enthrall others. We aren't sure yet if the music itself imposes control of others or if it's just good. Polytoad's place in Greater Poly society is bafflingly simple, with them being assigned the title of leader because of their hair antenna length. This means that Polytoad with longer hairs will always be in charge, even if other Polytoads are present. One would think this could lead to a power struggle, but instead most smaller Polytoads join their longer-haired sisters to form bands to lead together, with the longer-haired ones leading, of course. As rulers, Polytoads have little reason to ever do battle, though some unwoven scholars claim the Musu's song can call storms. Pass? It seems slimy.
Man, this one's a rock. I don't want to stick my cock in it. Oh, this one's too slimy. I don't want to stick my cock. You coward! Smash.
LumLum is too easy.
Hoppip, I think. I don't fucking know. The cottonweed musu. Hoppip are a common sight throughout Johto, as the musu are easily carried by the winds, twisting the propeller wings atop their heads that take them to and fro. When we say carried, we're being quite literal, as Hoppip are significantly lighter than air, to the point that even light breezes can send them flying for kilometers in a given direction. What they weigh exactly, we aren't sure, as the musu is too light to register on our scales. If a Hoppip doesn't wish to be sent flying, it requires an effort to stay put, usually involving them holding on to something for dear life. Oftentimes they'll do this if they find a human they like. Hoppip have acquired a sizable number of fans across the region, with many villages holding festivals to honor the seasonal arrival of Hoppip in the spring and summer. Many fans refer to them as airheads and wear hats with propellers that match Hoppips. Fighting isn't an option for most Hoppips, as they lack any significant strength or magical aptitude. Thankfully, the musu's light weight makes it so that the air displacement from most physical attacks will send them flying harmlessly away from said attacker.
Smash, although you'd have to hold on to them really hard, I guess. But that's okay. That's okay. That just adds an element of challenge to everything.
You don't have to hold her really hard. You just have to hold her.
Smash. Cottonweed Pokemusu. They say once a Hoppip absorbs enough sunlight, their propeller leaves bloom into a flower. After this change, we refer to the Musu as Skiploom. In this state, the Musu coloration goes from pink to green, and they grow floppy dewlaps on the side of their head, which allegedly gives them more speed when flying. While Hoppip are at the mercy of wind patterns to guide their travel, Skiploom have gained enough mass to control their path of flight. Generally, they prefer to float upward in the morning as they enjoy the sun's rays, but as it starts to set, the sky grows cold and they descend to huddle and keep warm. Humans typically see Skiploom more at night, since they float too high during the day for most people to interact with them. Though Skiploom abhor the cold and aren't typically the most talkative at this time. However, some clever tea house owners will invite the Musu to stay in their warm parlors during the night in exchange for some of their sweet flower nectar. This is where the great deal of research on the Musu is done. Skiplooms have few options when confronted. Their slow movement speed makes it difficult for them to flee, and they have few combat options among their abilities. Smash. In part because I feel sympathy for them, because during the day they'll float up into the jet stream and thousands of them will die every day as they impact commercial jets and stuff.
Also smash.
which is just a terrible way to go, sucked into a jet engine like that.
Jumpluff. Jumpluff? Jumpluff. After acquiring even more sunlight, Skiploom undergo another change in physiology, with their flower blooming into a cotton bulb along with secondary cotton bulbs appearing on their hands. This new form we call Jumpluff. Yes. The reason for the bulbs appearing on their hands isn't currently known and can actually get in the way of the Musu grabbing things. However, the benefits of the cotton far outweigh the annoyance, as the seeds have a rare magical trait that allows them to intake thousands of times the volume of air one would think possible for them, thus allowing the Musu to fly with incredible ease. While Jumpluff get most of their power from their cotton, most seek to spread their seeds around rather than hold on to them. Because of this, most of the Musu travel far and wide to find farmers who could use help and plant some of the powerful cotton on their plots. Jumpluff seeds don't grow back when separated, and if they give away all of them, they become no stronger than humans. Despite this, most Jumpluffs do finish their journey by giving away their cotton and retire to humble living. Smash.
Always smash the cotton pickers.
Oh my god.
Yep,
cotton planter.
Cotton planter, yeah, they've encouraged generations of cotton pickers. Without them, no cotton pickers would have been able to live long and healthy careers as cotton pickers. Jumpluff is at the very heart of the cotton picker system of governance and living. They are, therefore, inherently good on every single solitary level. Smash. Oh god, that's disgusting. Oh god, that's awful. I hate that. No, the giant weird hand. Oh god, no. The giant weird hand. The long-tail Musu, Aipom, are known for their long prehensile tails that end in a three-fingered hand. Said tails are quite strong for their size and capable of carrying more than the Musu's body weight. The gorilla grip, the Rigma grip, oh, don't like it. Don't like it. Most Aipom dwell in or around human settlements and are known to be quite a nuisance, I can imagine, with many becoming petty thieves and general troublemakers. Genocide. This is largely due to their Musu's inherent rambunctious nature and difficulty focusing on tasks they find uninteresting. Some researchers from Sinnoh claim that the Musu can put this nature to good use by introducing them to a trade or other form of skilled labor. But most researchers in Johto don't believe Aipom to be capable of doing such a thing, with many stating that it'd require an ardent shift for Aipom to change that drastically. When confronted by irate individuals, Aipom have been known to use their tails to slap them. This can often backfire. Swinging from their tails is the Musu's fastest form of movement, and using a track means they have to rely on their weaker limbs to get away. Genocide.
Jeez, just because of the tail?
Yep.
Jeez. Smash. Sunkern, I think. I don't know. Many readers have written in asking to know about the weakest Musu, of which the official response of the project is that all Musu are unique and have abilities and traits suited for their environments and needs. But some readers are insistent to have some kind of answer to their curiosity, and for them I will refer you to this entry, Sunkern the Seed Musu. The small, shy, and exceptionally rare Sunkern have a proclivity to hide in forests to avoid aggressors. Their speed and maneuverability are very limited, so this is by far the best option to do this. Humans have seldom seen the Musu, to the point that it was previously considered a myth spread by Sunflora for fun. It takes an exceptionally lucky researcher to find one, as so far as 6 researchers have done so successfully. While the Musu's magical aptitude most clearly resembles grass Musu, their biology can manipulate barely more mana than a human can naturally, meaning they have little to no natural casting ability. This, coupled with their lack of strong physical bodies, is why they were earlier referred to as the weakest Musu. The researchers reject this claim for reasons listed below, but we hope it satisfies the reader's curiosity.
The weakest Musu. Hesitant smash.
Smash. I see no downside besides just not much magical ability.
Yeah, but that's also the question of, again, where the hole is. That the location of the hole is a returning problem for many of these things.
Well, guess what? It's not always about the hole. There's another one that you can use. It's called the mouth.
Every hole is a goal. Sunflora. While not as rare as sunkern, sunflora aren't common either. It is theorized that they are the result of sunkern finding a leaf or sunstones and harnessing their powers. Though we have no direct evidence of this, and interviews with sunflora aren't reliable enough for most academics to accept. When the sun is out, one can find sunflora engaging in all sorts of erratic merriment in the fields with their fellow Musu. Though when the sun goes down, they will freeze in place and become unresponsive. While they appear to be sleeping, they aren't. They are merely conserving energy, and are completely attentive the whole time. It is unwise to approach sunflora in their silent state, as when surprised, they unleash a radiant beam of great power from their mouths. While similar in temperature to fire magic, the mana composition of this magic attack is closer to grass magics. Other Musu are capable of harnessing this power as well, but they generally require more time to charge the mana or intense weather that makes harnessing the power easier. Humans tend to be wary of sunflora because of their unpredictable ability. While their disposition is typically friendly, they are also prone to outbursts, which many find off-putting. Autist girlfriend. Smash.
Smash.
Oh, that's pretty
Yanma.
bad. That's
Yanma?
pretty bad.
Yeah. It's advised not to enter marshes on foggy days, as that's when the clear wing Musu, Yanma, is most likely to strike. Boasting incredible speed and air mobility, there are a few that can hope to avoid Yanma's ire when she's begun pursuit. While many think hiding among foliage and fog are a good way to avoid detection, they're quite incorrect, as Yanma's compound eyes make spying their prey a trivial matter. Additionally, Yanma beat their wings at such a rate that they produce bone-breaking sound waves. So even if one miraculously avoids a Yanma's grasp, they'll just wind up in the blast radius of Yanma's sonic attack. The sensible among humans are terrified of Yanma and do everything they can to avoid them in their territories. As the Musu detests interlopers wandering through the detests interlopers wandering through and delights in devouring the corpses of its victims. The best method to defeating a Yanma is to catch it by surprise. Once they get moving, Yanma build up momentum so quickly that few could hope to keep up. Because of this, distressed villagers will turn to guides that employ Crobat or Golbat, as their air maneuverability and talents subterfuge and talent for subterfuge makes them uniquely capable to handle Yanma. I'll have to pass on this one. I don't want all my bones to break.
Yeah, hard pass. That's just a sad Pokemusu right there that should be ignored and probably again genocided.
No genocide, just pass.
Whopper. Numerous petitions have been submitted to classify Whopper as the Wop Musu, but since that's not a word, they've all been rejected. These petitions come from a large collective of Whopper fans that appreciate them for their chill demeanor and whoptastic attitude. When questioned what the latter meant, we've received mixed responses that were often contradictory. The Musu dwells primarily in wetland communities with Quagsire and other Whoppers. Here they stay submerged most of the time, as removing them from water causes their skin to excrete a mild toxin to keep their skin damp. This is relatively unpleasant for the Musu and for anyone attempting to touch them. While Whopper don't have hands, they do have the beginnings of arm muscles that, when fully developed, will signal their transformation into a Quagsire. This makes using certain tools difficult, but does allow them to swim surprisingly well. Some humans have even adopted their unorthodox swimming technique into the Whopper stroke, where the swimmer keeps their hands at their sides and undulates their whole bodies. Though Whopper lacks arms, they can still learn various martial techniques by using their heads, literally, in this case. That's a pass, because she's retarded and a quadriplegic, basically.
So, there's a reason why the whole nugget thing is popular. Smash. What's that, Cyborg? Ugh, whatever. You're no fun. Quagsire? I don't know how to fucking pronounce that. It's hard to say if anything specific causes Whooper, not Whopper. Whooper to change into Quagsire. Yeah. As the Musu is so laid back, they rarely keep track of any sudden changes to themselves, including them growing arms. The current theory regarding their change is that the Musu simply changes after a certain amount of time from Whooper to Quagsire.
Whopper.
Quagsire doesn't do much of anything, really. Its carefree demeanor tends it towards relaxing in lakes and ponds and not much else. They do watch over the Whooper sisters when the time calls for it, but since Whooper is similarly relaxed, that job isn't that demanding. While they're similar in temperament, the Whooper and temperament to Whooper share many other traits. Quagsire have significantly less of a fan presence to their sisters. The self-proclaimed Whoopheads continue to baffle researchers in this in most other regards. While Quagsire aren't particularly strong, they do have traits that make them adept at defending themselves in peculiar ways, including a complete immunity to water magics and the baffling ability to inherently break through magic barriers. While many Musu have to master abilities to wear down such barriers, Quagsire just ignores them. Neither researchers nor Musu knows how this happens. Smash.
No, a little too porky and a little bit too boring, plus covered in mud and shit. No, filthy, disgusting. Not quite genocide level, but no.
You know, for a person that says that he really likes the Deadlay, doesn't really like the Deadlay Pokemon.
I don't know if she'd even be a Deadlay Pokemon, even. No.
She's just chilling in water, not doing much of anything. She's just there.
Now this one, however, now we're talking Espeon. Sun Pokemusu. It's theorized that an Eevee can evolve from a large enough presence of any magical energy type. Ah, the Eevee. The one created for intercourse. Espeon lends credence to this as well. Espeon is the result of an Eevee's exposure to light energy during an ardent shift. Though due to the unstable nature of light magic, the Eevee becomes a psychic type and not light type. While no light type exists, Espeon has the Musu with the closest affinity to the magic we know. Espeon's ardent shift requires a strong attachment to someone. Usually this is romantic in nature, but not necessarily. Always, as some have been the result of strong loyalty or platonic admiration. Listen, remember, if you want your dog to evolve, you must build strong romantic bonds with your dogs first. Since the Musu has been discovered relatively recently at the Eevee Academy for Thaumaturgy and Sorcery, the Eevee Academy. There's some fucking dirty shit going on there, I guarantee you that. Very few people are aware of them, though many researchers are ecstatic to find to find more discoveries in magic. Espeon have a great magical ability, particularly in unusual schools like space folding and form alteration. Though their magical ability strongly wanes in darkness or night, one can gauge Espeon's battle reserves by seeing how much of their jewel glows. That is an obvious smash. That's a clear and obvious clear-cut smash for once.
Yeah. Umbreon! See, like it. You have a little bit of a delicious brown woman, too. Just as light energies can affect Eevee, so can dark magic. Though where light magic isn't stable enough to settle, dark energy is more than capable of doing so. Changing the Eevee into Umbreon. This change can only occur at night when light energy is nearly absent and dark mana is more abundant. Additionally, the change must be triggered by a particular ardent shift. Since the Eevee's bodies normally reject dark mana, it requires an especially unpleasant emotional state to trigger the Umbreon change. Little is understood of Umbreon. Most are believed to be part of an organization similar to the Assassin's Guild, but more secretive and exclusionary. They call themselves the Black Hand and have a history of targeting controversial government figures, landowners, as well as other figures with great deals of power. Their operations are typically at night, and their innate magical abilities let them hide effortlessly under the cover of darkness, leaving few occasions for anyone to run into them. Umbreon typically only strike when they have the upper hand and slay their targets before anything meaningful is discovered about their combat experience. Yeah, expertise, not experience. Jesus Christ. Because of this, we know very little beyond them utilizing dark magic extensively. Smash.
Smash. And mostly because of the little icon, which is just giving side eye. That's mildly adorable. That's quite nice. Moonlight Pokemusu. Murkrow are considered ill omens in the same way that an approaching hail of arrows is considered an ill omen, as the significant majority of them form gangs that pilfer and connive their way into gaining shinies. These objects can consist of coins, jewelry, and anything else that glimmers in the light of the sun. They should be easily recognized by their ebon feathers and the pattern atop their heads that resemble steeple hat, but because the features are so iconic, they tend to hide them when approaching unsuspecting victims. With such notoriety, humans tend to stay away from Murkrow and the areas they control, though some say that Murkrow's clan keep all their loot in a so-called dark chest of wonders. And the allure of such prize lures many to hunt for them, as of now none have found such a chest. These Musu has excellent speed and are incredibly clever, though it's often debated if the Musu can cast spells. Many of the objects they steal have inherent magical applications, so that would explain their desire for them. However, there isn't any direct evidence of any actually casting a spell before, so we can't say for certain if they can or cannot. Smash, definitely.
Smash.
It's the waifu that steals stuff for you and brings the shinies back home.
Yes. Slowking. Oh, look at her. While most Slowpoke's tails are bit by Shelter, changing them into Slowbro, in rare cases, they can also be bit on their heads, changing them into Slowking. While initially it was believed that the Musu were one and the same, recently it's been discovered that they have several core differences. The primary of which being a marked increase of intelligence and knowledge. While Slowbro are by no means foolish, every Slowking that's been documented possess incredible knowledge of magic, the world, and beyond. With many of them knowing more than most learned of wizards. Jesus Christ, these sentences. Some rumor that Slowking's intelligence is caused by the exposure to King's Rock, as all Slowking we found seem to possess some. Whether this is true or not is unknown, as Slowking refused to remove the stone from their shelter. With their incredible wisdom, most Slowking take positions as advisors of cities or create temples and libraries to spread their knowledge to others who need it. While they think little of fighting, they are not capable of defending themselves if needed. Though with their strong influence, few Slowking are ever in a position that would require them to do so. Smash.
I don't like the face. Pass. I don't like it. I don't like it. Mischievous, the Screech Musu. Mischievous are a rare ghost Musu native to the Johto region. We believe this is due to their connection to the blood pearls, which are far less common elsewhere. Blood pearls are red stones that absorb malicious intent and convert it to mana. Misdrivers are believed to be the end result of the pearls absorbing an excess of emotional energy. Many confuse the Musu for having arms, but in actuality, these appendages are just extensions of the Musu's hair, which isn't really hair either, but we don't know how else to classify it. Misdrivers are most often found in areas of lingering pain, malice, or hardship. Common examples include graveyards, abandoned cities, and ancient battlefields. Humans dislike misdrivers since the Musu feeds off negative emotions, and they'll sate their hunger by scaring others through various means. Most misdrivers are somewhat harmless if they aren't agitated, though there are legends of more powerful forms of the Musu from long ago that have been sealed away. If angered, Misdrivers can conjure powerful magic attacks to retaliate or even weaponize their screams to deafen or drive mad those that would harm them. Smash.
I love Mischievous, so pass. Not pass, smash. Jesus fucking Christ. I'm too tired for this bullshit. I need to get my energy drinks. Unknown. Since unknown are usually, different letters and stuff, I wonder if they're each uniquely shaped depending on which letter they are. Or is the letter just the mask on their face? I wonder. Oh well. The symbol Musu, unknown, are named for their unusual method of communication, where they use thin tendrils on their backs to form shapes reminiscent of text characters in a sequence. Okay, they use their tentacles. I see. Unknown tend to cover themselves up, coupled with their rarity. Most don't have a good grasp on what unknown look like, though they are humanoid, bipedal, and always have one eye. It's believed that unknown currently exist in their own space created by Arceus. In the Time of Testament, Arceus tasked unknown with various jobs to create the world, but after they were finished, he placed them in a sort of alternate space, which has properties unlike our own world. In the few times times when unknown have been found outside this space, they've only been seen for short periods of time before they disappear into thin air, presumably back to their home world. Despite having mouths, they've never been heard speaking. Some claim to have mind melded with the Musu at their touch to communicate with them, but none of our researchers have experienced this to confirm with certainty. Unknown have been witnessed in conflict. As of now, we don't know how they would participate in that. Smash.
Pass. I see chat coping as well. Like, mask could be pretty underneath, or they could be a cow. See, it's actually an observable fact that people find people with masks more attractive because your brain fills in the blank. And your brain always chooses the thing that appeals to you yourself the most. And you will always be disappointed. So pass.
Guess what? There's a magical thing called the paper bag method.
Wobbuffet. The patient
Wobbuffet, love them.
Musu. Wobbuffet is referred to as such because they can and do wait longer than any other Musu found. They refuse to do much of anything when observed, even if the observer isn't within sight range of the Musu. We believe they're able to do this because of latent psychic abilities. They primarily live in caves and aren't social with others. If approached, they'll slowly move deeper into the caves, careful to keep their backs hidden from view. If one attempts to trick them to see behind them, they will become enraged and attack. Most humans consider Wobbuffet creepy as they don't open their eyes and speak very rarely. Many myths about Ditto are also applied to Wobbuffet, albeit unfairly as Wobbuffet's shape change is incredibly short-term. Wobbuffet seldom initiate attacks on their own. Most often they simply wait, and when attacked physically, will change their bodies to match the opponents and return the attack in nearly identical ways as the opponents. When attacked magically, they coat their bodies in mirror-like sheen that reflects most spells off them. Because of this, fighting Wobbuffet is quite obnoxious, and few bother with it. The literal incarnation of not tonight, honey, I have a headache, so pass.
Smash. Because look there's a second body with that tail. Look at her. You get 2 for 1. Smash.
I don't know if that's how that works, LumLum.
Smash. Oh, and also, there's a severe storm happening outside, so there's a possibility that I may lose power.
There's always a possibility that LumLum will lose power.
Shut up. I can never remember how to pronounce this Pokemon's name.
Girafag?
Giraffering? Giraffe, yeah, meh, whatever. The long neck Musu, Giraffering. Surprisingly doesn't have a particularly long neck, though it does 2 heads. It does have 2 heads. Why is there no have in the middle of that? Though it does 2 heads. Whatever. Some researchers initially wanted to classify it by this definition, but their second heads don't appear sapient. Yeah. Thus led to massive debates if they were actually heads or just strange-looking tails. Eventually, researchers got fed up and just decided on long neck Musu. The Musu's head tails do process sensory information as giraffering. Can detect those approaching behind them, even when sleeping. Said herds are also a source of her psychic talents. Giraffering tribes live on plains and form their society around worship of their head tails. That's just weird. They give tributes, feast, and celebrate according to the seemingly random undulations and pulses that come from their tails. While research haven't implied the secondary heads have any awareness, Giraffering absolutely believe they are aware and capable of communications. As their societies are fairly remote and insular, they don't have many external threats to face. Despite this, they are fairly skilled at fighting and will team up with their Giraffering sisters to dispatch any who threaten their villages. If I don't focus on the tail head thing, smash.
Yeah, no, this is one of those centaur thingies where you're just having sex with a horse, and I've never been interested in having sex with a horse even once in my entire life. Never has it occurred to me to go like, ah, yes, I'd like to fuck that particular animal. Not even once. Pass. Pinaco. In some of the more somber forests of the region, one may see Musu hanging from the trees. These are the Pinaco, a unique Musu that builds armor and weapons using a piece of bark fastened with their own saliva. Disgusting. A substance which is incredibly sticky and flammable properties. Disgusting. Since their habit possesses everything they need, Pinaco rarely travel, instead they live in isolated cloisters with their sisters. There they expand their armor, meditate, and practice techniques with their handcrafted weapons. Pinaco don't take kindly to visitors will attack any strangers who approach without good reason. Because of this, humans are wary to approach the forests they call home. The researchers with the most success approaching them come bearing honey. The Pinaco still weren't cordial, but they were open to discussion. Attacking a Pinaco is a poor idea, as attempting to approach them may result in being cut down, and the two camouflage in the trees for most to attack from afar. It is also stated in rare occasions when a Pinaco is in danger, they may ignite themselves and explode their armor to ensure that even in defeat they take their foes with them. Hard pass and genocide.
Jeez. You know, I wouldn't smash, but if I can remove that mask, I'd have a heavy fucking makeout session.
With sticky, gluey saliva?
It's okay.
It is not okay. Smash, no, pass, and genocide.
Fortress? I think. I don't know. While many consider Pineco to be one of the most dangerous Musu, they can also enhance themselves to
Trick or treat.
fortress.
Can I smell your
Trees,
feet?
yeah. And become even more hazardous than most thought possible. With the completed mastery of their hardening spit, a fortress, make their armor so strong that it's comparable to reinforced steel. They also realize that they can combine this new tensile strength with its flammability to make long-range artillery cannons. With their enhanced perception and lack of care for other organisms, Fortress will fire volleys at anything with a larger mana presence than a sunkern. This category includes most things that exist. Because of Fortress's explosive nature, humans would rather build around fortresses than actually confront them. Even adventurers would confront great evils. That would confront great evils will decline to approach Fortress for fear of collateral damage. Fortresses cannons are terrifying to approach, especially since Fortress can control them autonomously. Yeah. But getting close doesn't make things safer. Like Pineco, the Musu is a master of sword fighting and even possess techniques their predecessors don't have, like gyro cut. You know, if I wouldn't die, I would attempt to smash. That is an attempted smash, but I know I would probably die in the process. Even
Pass.
Before I can even touch her.
And a genocide, yet again.
Unfortunately, I don't think you'd be able to genocide them without a very large bomb.
And luckily, we humans have developed just that. Dune Sparse, Dune Sparky. The seldom rumored and even less seen Musu, Dune Sparky, are referred to as the land snake Musu. This is due to their propensity to bury themselves in dirt after drinking. Because the Musu drinks almost constantly, they spend a great deal of time buried. But how do they gain access to the alcohol if they are rarely seen? Dune Spark are seldom seen without their sake quads, though they usually leave them above ground when buried. This inspired a local myth that one should always refill an empty guard should they find one in the middle of nowhere. We believe said myth was spread by Dune Spark as a way to get free drinks. The Musu's propensity to drink makes their personalities vary somewhat. Whilst most are quite relaxed, some are quick to agitation when tipsy. The one's constant is lower inhibitions than most Musus and human alike. The Musu propensity to drink makes their personalities vary somewhat. While most are quite relaxed, some are quick to agitation when tipsy. The one's constant in lower inhibitions than most Musu and human alike. That's just literally two of the same sentences, presumably to make me feel as if I was drunk. Pass. Drunk women are the worst women.
Well, you also don't drink as well. As somebody who does drink once in a while, I think she would be fun to hang out with. Smash. Gligar? Gligar? Whatever. Travelers are advised to be cautious around mountain trails as Gligar make their lairs there. This Musu is an ambush predator with Garish? Yeah, I think. Pink coloration. With such an unnatural hue, they're fairly easy to spot at a distance. However, if one spots them too late, they'll likely have trouble outrunning the Musu. The Musu attacks humans on sight, primarily by flying onto the victim and stinging them with their tail. Stung victims are put into a weakened state, allowing the Gligar to drag them away to their villages. Here they will be put to work in their mines. Said villagers are typically only populated by slaves and other Gligar, as Gligar tend not to get along with other Musu and human society alike. Human society in general stay clear of Gligar, whatever, as their temperament and proclivity towards slavery makes them difficult to work with. Though there are underground connections to Gligar villages, which trade their unethical unethically sourced ore. Authorities are currently investigating these unscrupulous connections to put a stop to them. Gligar's agility and natural resistance to electrical magics make them tricky to challenge, though they are vulnerable to ice spells.
Smash.
Smash.
Yeah, obvious smash. Slavery is based. Steelix. The first discovered steel musu in Johto is Steelix, which are actually onyx that undergo a particular ardent shift. It is believed that shift results from the musu training their physical toughness so much that their stone bodies refine into ore and then further into metal. Steelix prefer to dwell where they train, that being mountainous areas and large cave systems. Here they push their steel scales to the limit in an effort to strengthen them even more. They do this by purposely rusting parts of their coat and then breaking them off so they can grow in stronger than before. Unlike their onyx sisters, Steelix won't attack people on sight, though they still might be aggressive if you're exceptionally obnoxious and or get in the way of them pursuing their, as they say, sick gains. While Steelix's defense is impeccable when it comes to physical strength, they have trouble when attacking with fire, water, and even some earth magic. No matter how dense metal is, it still has always a melting point, and Steelix has a few recourse against such attacks. Some Steelix have tried to purify their metal to the point that it could withstand these attacks, but attempts thus far haven't been successful. Pass, because big, dumb rock monster thing.
I can't smash, but I'll make out with her.
I mean, literally can't smash. Literally. That's because, metal, rock and stuff. That's a bit upsetting.
Snubble. Oh, it's the bulldog! Surprisingly, Snubble is a fairy musu and classified as such. Many assume otherwise because of the musu's chronic underbite, but upon meeting Snubble and learning their kind demeanor, most quickly understand that the musu is definitely a fairy. While many consider Snubble to be ugly, there is a core group of humans, mostly women, who find Snubble greatly appealing and will invite them to live in their homes as servants and bodyguards. Though the musu seldom like being referred to as bodyguards and will instead call themselves strong friends or similar titles. Some humans consider Snubble scary, which greatly saddens and offends the musu. If they find out someone thinks of them this way, they'll have a fit and seek out ways to adjust their appearance to be more appealing. Snubble are relatively small and their strength reflects this. However, their appearance works to their advantage in combat situations, as many would-be aggressors are intimidated by Snubble at a glance and can be startled away with a threat or roar. If these strategies fail, though, they have few options to fall back on and will usually run away. Smash, I love her.
Yeah, Smash, she's kind of adorable in a retarded way. It just has to be that way. Plus, you could pet them, and they would probably be happy with it. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that's a little bit worse. Granbull. When a Snubble is removed from the struggles of daily life for a significant amount of time, their bodies and especially their teeth grow exponentially. So much so that the musu has trouble moving around with their heavy mouths. This new state of the musu we call Granbull. Granbull have only come about by spending the time with families that support them to the point where they're completely spoiled. Even Snubble that have minor responsibilities will not become Granbull. With their new larger status, Granbull are considered to be even more intimidating than Snubble's sisters. However, unlike their sisters, Granbull are almost completely helpless situations. These are not words. In noble houses, Granbull become so pampered that they lose the ability to do most of the tasks required of said jobs. This extends to combat potential as well, as while Granbull appears stronger than Snubble at a glance, they are nothing of the sort and actively panic when they encounter any kind of threat. Some theorize that Granbull could become strong fighters, but given the social circumstances surrounding them, we have yet to find any evidence of being capable of such a thing. That's a pass.
Smash.
That's a bit too much.
Oh, smash.
Definitely pass. It's just, you're just being weird again, LumLum. Just being weird again.
No! She's adorable! Quillfish. Quillfish, yeah. Johto scholars refer to Quillfish as the balloon Musu, as they discovered it before they knew about Jigglypuff. Unlike other Musu name disagreements, the Johto scholars came to an agreement that Quillfish can be changed to the Spike Balloon Musu, though they seem to have forgotten to actually carry out this change since making this declaration. Thus, it remained as it was. Quillfish are known for their spiky protrusions and ability to inhale water to expand their bodies. Many people are under the assumption that Quillfish start small and inhale to become a round shape, but in actuality, the Musu simply starts as a round shape and simply gets bigger from there. Humans don't see Quillfish often, as the Musu tend to live in isolated underwater villages near rocky shores. They also don't seek them out often, as Quillfish can quite easily stick people with their spikes on accident, and their poison makes this especially unpleasant. Not only can Quillfish spikes be used to attack those that get too close to them, they can also fire them as projectiles as they inflate themselves to their maximum capacity. However, it takes a long time for the Musu to regain their spikes, meaning they're practically defenseless after attempting this. I would say smash if she doesn't inflate herself, because I'm not into the whole inflation thing.
Yeah, the inflation thing is a challenging thing, isn't it?
As long as she doesn't inflate herself, that's a smash. As soon as she wants to inflate herself, that's like, I'm sorry, my dude. I gotta go.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be a pass. Skizor. The Pincer Musu. Skizor are the result of Scyther, who seeks greater power and undergo a dangerous ritual to achieve it. Said ritual is called shaping. It entails melting down an enchanted material, metal, and coating the Scyther's body with it completely and precisely. This often requires the aid of craftsmen to do it properly, and even in cases where it's done properly, the Musu is very likely to die from the excruciating pain. To nobody's surprise, Skizzer are quite rare, as most Scythers are content enough with their ferocity. The few Skizzers that do exist had particular goals they sought to accomplish, and thought the ritual would aid them in said goals. Myths spread far and wide of traveling red warriors whose bodies are as strong as steel. Many of these are inspired by feats of mysterious Skizzers from the past and present. Because of Skizzer's scarcity, many of these tales contain exaggerations. Some researchers theorized the Skizzer wouldn't be particularly fearsome since they'd become slower. Upon changing, they were incorrect. Despite being slower, sometimes the Skizzer's bullet punch is still faster than most humans can perceive and can punch holes through stones with ease. Psycho girlfriend? Yes. Yes, pass. Yes, pass? No smash? I don't know. There's a degree of psycho girlfriend where you're kind of hovering on the edge. Smash, yes. Barely, but close. Okay, that's just weird.
Shuckle. If you have encountered the Musu, Shuckle, but most in the region are familiar with Shuckle wines and spirits, as the Musu is necessary for producing many high-end alcoholic drinks. This is because Shuckle can create an unusual acidic solution that accelerates and accentuates fermentation of berries into flavorful alcohol. Humans value this ability greatly and often seek to form arrangements with the Musu. However, their shy nature makes this difficult and will often live in remote areas in mountains or in forests. Some have been persuaded to move closer to human society, but most remain hermits. The specifics of Shuckle's fermentation process is still a mystery to us, as the Musu declines to share too many details of their process, many citing that it's embarrassing. If forced into a bad situation, Shuckle will typically hide in their strong rock shells, though if pushed too far, they do possess a mental technique called Power Trick, which can temporarily give the Musu incredible strength that would allow them to beat assailants into submission with their rocky shells. The Musu seldom does this and refuses to demonstrate it for us, but accounts appear consistent that Shuckle can do this. Smash.
No, because mold Pokemusu, that alcohol is made through terrible, terrible, terrible things. Terrible, terrible ways. No. Stinky, smelly, rotting. No. Pass, no.
Coward.
Heracross, the often elusive but always vigilant protector of Johto's forests. Heracross are beloved guardians of important landmarks and outposts far from other villages. They manage this with their durable natural armor and impressive physical strength. Most appear to do this because of a strong sense of justice and desire to protect others. Despite having a limited fight, Heracross will go out of their limited flight. There we go. To build homes and high vantage points in the forests, often citing needs to have good vision of the area as their reason, even if it is at the cost of their own convenience. Heracross love to eat sweet foods, particularly ones that contain honey. Grateful villagers and merchants will typically gift Heracross with such sweets which they greatly appreciate. Many Heracrosses will use their horns as their first option of attack, as it's typically their strongest option and pairs well with their ability to flap their wings to move swiftly. Across the ground. Unfortunately, the Musu's weight prevents it from flying for long, but does allow them to, as the Musu states, ride the wind. Because of this, many Heracross refer to themselves as wind riders. That's a smash. That is a tall retard girlfriend that likes sweets and talking about justice.
Yeah, smash.
She's basically an autist that likes Power Rangers.
Sneasel. Cloaked in dark clothes and dark teal fur, Sneasel can be found in the frigid highlands of Johto. Often they can be mistaken for humans and other Musu, as they're prone to disguising themselves. Though Sneasel can always be picked out from the salmon-colored feathers on their head and tailbone. Most Sneasel form thieving bands and work to con or rob those unfortunate enough to cross their path. They typically work at night and seldom approach others when alone. Even if it seems that they are alone, Sneasel are rarely far from backup. It's advised for those traveling in Sneasel territory to acquire maps far from those regions, as Sneasel will create maps that contain fake villages which they use to lure travelers from points Sneasel can easily trap them. Some even go the extra mile to create fake villages, outposts, and even attractions like circuses to lure in unsuspecting targets. Sneasel are incredibly quick, and while their martial strength isn't the greatest, they make up for it with the mastery of throwing weapons like shuriken, ringama, words, and when gunpowder is available, bombs. They have a notorious glass jaw, however, and will often be knocked unconscious with a good punch or aura sphere. Smash.
Yeah, she's Mesugaki, bratty girl thief that actually kind of sucks at her job. That's Smash too. Teddy Ursa. The premier confectionery Musu in the Johto region are Teddiursa. This is largely due to the Musu's love for sweets and their advanced sense of taste that can discern more specialized flavors than most. While the Musu have a particular affinity for beedrill and corn bee honey, they also work with berries, fruits, and even create elusive ochre sweets. Since the Musu is dependent on trade with humans and other Musu, they typically set up shop in cities, villages, or on trade routes to sell their wares. Humans cherish their candy shops ran by Teddiursa, particularly children, for obvious reasons. Additionally, while there are several shops in large cities, each Musu specializes in different confectionaries based on their preferences. This makes each shop a unique experience with candy you can't find anywhere else. The scent and flavors of these candies often stick to Teddiursa's fur and paws, which is why they're often seen sniffing or licking their fingers. Teddiursa have strong potential for battle, but few seek to learn how to fight effectively, and those that do often become ursaring before long. The two Musu typically stay in communities with each other and form effective teams for creative and selling delicious candy. Smash, even if she's probably a lesbian.
Smash, because Teddiursa is just adorable. Ursaring. The significantly larger and more aggressive sisters to Teddiursa are Ursaring. While they rarely go about in public compared to their sisters, their towering height and broad frame make them difficult to miss in a crowd. Ursaring's primary responsibility is to acquire honey and other rare ingredients for Teddiursa to make their confectionaries. Sometimes this involves infiltrating beetle hives, which they accomplish with their impressive strength and special-made coats that can deflect beetle stingers. Some beetle get annoyed at persistent Ursaring and will move their hives to higher spots on trees, but Ursaring's claws make climbing a breeze. When Ursaring have a habit of being intimidating to humans, they tend to avoid spending too much time around their own shops. If they aren't on missions, they'll generally be sleeping in back parts of the store. As mentioned with Teddiursa, Ursaring are the result of Teddiursa unlocking their combat potential. Since their primary mana is normal, they're able to utilize a wide variety of spells, and this combined with their great strength make them a powerful force to be contend with. Smash.
Pass. Looks like a man. Probably is a man. Don't like that. Don't like it.
What?
It's a man. Pass. Slugma, lava Pokemusu. During the construction process for expanding Kanto's trade routes, the diggers, oh god, they're in Japan too, accidentally breached a volcanic tunnel that stretched the region. This inadvertently led to the discovery of Slugma villagers just below the ground surface. Kanto society is still trying to figure out what to make of this situation. Slugma have a somewhat gelatinous body that requires constant heating to maintain stability. Heat from the sun isn't enough either, which is why they primarily live in and around volcanoes and similar locations. Rumors about the Musu are being spread wildly in the wake of their discovery, some even speculating that the Musu can raise its temperature enough to set the air itself ablaze. But this is heavily exaggerated. While the Musu can adjust their body temperature significantly, they cannot reach the threshold being described. Few physical traits exist to lava, and the same can be said for Slugma. Contact with the Musu can lead to dangerous burns or worse, and the Musu is capable of using fire magic as well. Their only true weakness it has are spells that can rapidly reduce its body temperature, as that can prove lethal to it. Potion of fire resistance, and then smash.
Yeah, I agree. Mag cargo. Really, it's just mag cargo. Okay. Some industrious Slugma have discovered that volcanic rocks can act as a sort of heat battery for them, allowing them greater freedom for travel outside extreme temperatures. These Musus are called mag cargo. Yeah. Because they're likely to go, as they say. The inspiration for the rest of their name isn't currently known. Many Slugma that take this path have a bit of wanderlust and end up taking careers as tradesmen and merchants. This allows them to see more of the world, but also keeps them in contact with sources that can get the heated rock that they need to survive. Mega cargo are a fairly new phenomenon, as before the meeting of human and Slugma, the Musu have had little need to utilize this technique. As such, many humans view them as interchangeable with Slugma. Scientifically, they are distinct from Slugma, though, and are categorized as such. Since they share Slugma's extreme body temperature, Magcargo have an incredible natural defense against physical attacks. Some have theorized Magcargo to be weaker than Slugma on account of their volcanic rock slowing them down, but the Musu is capable of smashing their shells to gain a giant burst of speed to compensate. Smash.
Pass. Don't like it. Too much animal again. We must
it's
separate ourselves from the fucking animals, LumLum, instead of having sex with them. Stop having sex with animals, LumLum.
Arch, I will gesture wildly to Rarity.
That's not an animal. What's wrong with you?
She's a pony!
You don't know that. Swinub, pig Pokemusu. Few Musu can make their homes in the frigid peaks of the Johto province, but one can find Swinub among them. With their thick coat, their strong sense of smell, Swinub can withstand the harsh weather and forage for delicious and rare truffles that grow in the region. Oh boy. Swinub have a particularly close relationship with pillow swine, see following entry, and the pair will work together to form communities around hot springs in the snowy areas. Swinub are particularly adept at smelling salts that are produced by the hot waters, which makes them invaluable to finding new hot springs. While Swinub communities are remote and in harsh regions, people still make the trek to experience the wonderful springs they produce. Due to Sneasel impersonating their establishments, they've had to take special care to identify and mark their springs as legitimate. There are few threats to Swinub in the harsh environments they live in, and pillow swine generally handle the few threats they do encounter, giving them little cause to know combat abilities. If pressed, they can use their expertise with earth and ice magic to make for an easy escape.
Smash.
Yeah, fair enough, Smash. Smash, hold on. Oh god, YouTube didn't send the little plingy messages. Yo, Qatar, to give a Lumi power, it's like to give a machine gun to a monkey. And Lumi, consider this as you are smashing with your chosen head, that the other head is there, watching, judging, condemning.
I am a good fish.
Pillow swine. Oh, pillow swine. That one's nice. I like that one.
Rare pillow swine sightings were initially considered to just be sightings of larger Swinub. However, after closer research, we've discovered that their mana signatures are distinct from Swinub, and their physiology is too different for them to be considered the same. One encounters pillow swine in the same frigid areas as Swinub, as they're previously mentioned in the Swinub entry. They tend to work together in settlements surrounding hot springs. Pillow swine tend to handle the more physically demanding tasks around the settlement, including construction, digging, and protection if the need arises for it. Many also take operating breweries on the springs locations, though this is more because of their preferences than any innate talents. With their impressive strength and greater mastery of earth magics, pillow swine are a force to be reckoned with. Some have also learned techniques devised by Sneasel, like ice shard throwing and avalanche triggering. While Sneasel usually only cause avalanches when they have a visible escape route handy, pillow swine can weather an avalanche with little issue on account of their warm fur and powerful frame. Smash.
Yeah, Smash. Just big piggy girlfriend with long, ridiculous hair. Though the hair could get a little annoying at that length.
Well, that's why you put in a ponytail.
Corsola, you cannot spike my cortisol. An iconic part of Johto's seas are the pink sakura shoals that surround its coastline. These are the result of Corsola taking root in the undersea sands. Said corals spread incredibly quickly, and while some research are concerned with the musu becoming an invasive threat, as of now most musu and humans have found ways to cohabitate with Corsola. Corsola seldom move and haven't been seen eating anything, which implies to researchers that the musu is capable of photosynthesizing from sunlight refracted through the water. While it is possible for them to photosynthesize sunlight above water, the only place Corsola have been witnessed is the ocean floor. While the musu seldom socialize, if they take a liking to someone, they'll often enhance a piece of jewelry of their coral into jewelry. Said jewelry allows the wearer to breathe underwater and gives them resistance to the strong pressure of the ocean depths. One aspect of Corsola that concerns some research is the rate of coral growth the musu exhibit. They exude miles of coral in only a few weeks. This growth even continues after the musu dies, though its coloration changes from pink to white. Right. Pass and genocide.
I can't smash, but I'll happily make out with.
Pass and genocide. This is clearly an invasive species and a threat to the environment at large. Must be destroyed immediately.
What? Ugh.
No mercy. No
Coward.
kindness.
Guarantees citizenship.
Coward. Yeah, okay. Remo raid? Remo raid. That's a stupid name, but whatever. When sailing around the coast of the region, one often finds Remo Raid on patrol. While Remo Raid can hold many jobs, one of them choose to be officers of the law, which many provinces approve of on account of the Musu's speed and expertise in water. Many assume Remo Raid have a large tail that they use to propel themselves through the water, but this is actually two separate tentacles that are fully articulate. Remo Raid will often swim with it in a fin shape as it provides them with great speed and control in the water, but they'll also pull out the whims to grab onto ships and whatever, as well. Sailors and other humans that work around the coast have great appreciation for the security and protection that Remo Raid provide them, though they're also annoyed with the Musu's fixation of procedures and paperwork. As water Musu, Remo Raid are adept at water manipulation. They can fire spouts of water from their mouths with great force and accuracy. Additionally, while they have little elemental control themselves, compounds have been developed that allow water to trigger elemental reactions of other types, which Remo Raid use in times of need. Smash.
All I heard is a Remo Raid. That's what they are now. They're a Remo Raid. Because of the talks, too much animal. That just makes it better.
Raid.
Second to only the brown yandere ones. Just look deep and find that inner animal lover. But I don't want to find my inner animal lover. I have never desired it. Pass. Too much hemorrhoids, too much remoroids. Octillery. When remoroids amass stress and have difficulty managing it, they can undergo a unique ardent shift into octillery. In this form, they gain more tentacle limbs and their coloration changes from blue to red. Their personality changes significantly as well, and many of the Musu will even change their names after the shift. A key cause... Oh my god, they transition. That's disgusting. A key cause of the auxiliaries change is often social issues. They are transgender. Because of this, they frequently misunderstood social cues and have difficulties relating to others. It requires significant intervention to help octillery re-assimilate into society properly, but it's definitely possible. Humans don't typically have good opinions of the Musu, as octillery often have extreme beliefs and are quite hot-headed, especially in matters of crime. While some may think this to be an easy enough topic to avoid, octillery are often quite fixated on what they're passionate about and will often steer social engagements towards this subject. While the ardent shift comes with a lot of baggage, octillery gains a lot in raw power. Not only is the water pressure of their shots far stronger than their remoroid sisters, their mana glands expand to allow them to fire a wide array of magical attacks to use as well. Transgender Pokemusu, pass and genocide.
Oh, jeez, you baby. Smash.
Terrible.
Jellybird! Look at her! She looks so cute. Whether the weather is frightful or delightful, one can find Jellybird atop snowy peaks. While the feathers atop their heads blend in with the snow, the crimson plumage on the rest of their body stands out quite a bit. Jellybird's tail also possesses a unique trait in that it's folded in a way that can hold objects like a bag would. Most typically, they use them to carry food and trinkets to give to others. All Jellybird also wear unique masks. Experts believe that these masks contain some magic that the Musu can utilize, as they're incredibly hesitant to remove them, and the Musu's ability appeared to exceed what one would expect for a Musu that with their amount of mana control. While Jellybird are good-natured, they've also been known to prank others, something they call pulling a pale Donphin? Whatever. Ancient legends tell of a time when a great famine struck a village of Darigumra in the dead of winter. When one thought all hope was lost, a strange Jellybird and Snubble, calling themselves Midori no Kami, brought them a feast that saved the village. A statue of the heroic pair still exists in the village to this day. cementing the Musu in public conscious as a goofy nuisance that ultimately means well.
See,
Smash.
what you were supposed to say was Midori no Kami, which means green god. What you did say was Mido no Kami, which makes it even better.
I said Midori no Kami.
No Kami.
I said Midori.
So she's the anti-communist who brings food rather than takes it away from people. Okay, fair enough. That'll have to be a smash, even if I don't particularly like it. The anti-communist bird. Kite Pokemusu. Sailors that visit the Johto region are occasionally horrified to find massive musu passing over their vessels. These are mantine, large water musu that launch themselves from the water and glide across the tides. While they are larger than most musu, their demeanor is typically relaxed and easygoing. Mantine often aid law enforcement and will act as transport for Remeroid and patrol. Many of the Musu perform this act as honorary officers or simply kind citizens, but some do put in the extra effort to become officers of the peace themselves. Mantine are typically open to letting others ride with them as well, but without strong tentacles to hang on, most others will fall off the Musu mid-air. Many humans find the appearance of Mantine coupled with their intimidating size off-putting, though the Musu's calm demeanor can melt this perception away when one meets them firsthand. The sheer scale of Mantine is enough to make most aggressors wary of attacking the Musu. This size advantage does give the Musu a higher strength than many, though if size is factored into account, they aren't particularly powerful. If anything, the Musu excels at shrugging off attacks more than anything. Pass. No, smash, obviously. Not pass. What am I even saying? Smash, obviously. Duh.
I was about to say, Jesus Christ. Smash.
Yeah. Smash, obviously. She's huge, which makes it all the better.
Scarmoni. Yeah. When one sees a high-speed glare soar across the horizons of Johto, it's likely they witnessed a Scarmoni pass by. The flying Musu possesses reflective feathers that double as incredible armor. Air friction and personal training mold the edges into sharp edges that can even cut stone in twain. Yeah. Scarmonis tend to live in clusters with other Scarmoni, as they typically only view each other as acceptable sparring partners. While some other Musu and exceptional humans can pique their curiosity, they tend to assume others aren't as capable. Humans of the region have been fascinated and inspired by Scarmoni's strong defenses, so much so that many smiths have designed armor around Scarmoni's physique. There have also been attempts to replicate their wing shape into weapons, but this has had less success as humans lack the size and endurance to wield wing blades effectively. Yeah. While a Scarmoni that seeks to fight is a terrifying force, fighting an uninterested one can be equally infuriating, as they often toy with foes they view as inferior, usually by scattering metal feathers on the ground and buffeting with gusts of wind so they fall onto them repeatedly. Smash.
No, too much weird. Too much weird. Don't
You
like
are
the weird. Too much weird.
Such a baby.
Too much weird.
And hi, Dry Bread, welcome. You should do your own Pokemusu Smash or Pass since you are the de facto Pokemon YouTuber.
But he wouldn't do the Pokemusu. He would just smash the Pokemon itself, because he's a little bit filthy like that.
Dry Bread, do the Pokemusu Smash or Pass.
No, bad pass, but no genocide in this one. Houndour. Okay, now we're talking again. Researchers once thought they found a Cubone establishment in the outskirts of Johto, when in fact they had run into a group of Houndour. At a distance, it's easy to confuse the two, since they are in some of the few Musu that practice osteomancy and use skeletons as a form of fashion. While Cubone wear bones, Houndour actually manipulate their own bones to extend through their skin. This is a complex and horrifically painful practice that other osteomanders call beyond stupid. When asked why Houndour do this, they reply, because it's cool. Houndor are rather social with one another, but not so much with humans. They have a habit of following their stronger Houndor sisters and disregarding the rules of those outside their groups. A few Houndor groups have assimilated into society as mercenary bands, but most are bandits. One can distinguish different tribes and bands by the skull insignia they wear on their heads. It is difficult to gauge the strength of individual Houndors as they rarely fight alone and instead gang up on opponents in great numbers to beat them up. Some known abilities of theirs are their fire manipulation and resistance to psychic attacks. Right. Well, that is really, really fucking gross, but still smash.
Smash.
Hesitant, though. Like, that's a little... That is really, really gross and should probably be looked into.
Houndoom. The leaders of Houndor packs are referred to as Houndoom. These are Houndor that reach an exceptional level of flame manipulation and osteomancy.
Osteomancy,
Whatever.
yes.
The long horns they brandish atop their heads are a result of advanced bone manipulation. Much like Houndor, Houndoom are rather brash, violent, and short-tempered. Wow, that's perfect for you, Arch.
Yes.
Except Houndoom exemplifies these traits even more than their smaller sisters, with them lashing out at nearly any small inconvenience that comes their way. Man, I can already hear the many smashes coming from Arch. Some theorize that Houndor are less sociable in these groups because they go out of their way to appease the temperaments of their leaders. Houndoom are quite rare and only seem to appear in isolated Houndor gangs. When Houndor assimilate with human society, it appears they lose the impetus to become Houndoom. Additionally, only one Houndoom can be in a group of Houndor and when they come into contact with another, a fight erupts quickly for dominance. It's difficult to judge the strength of Houndor because they tend to fight as a group, and it's even harder to tell for Houndoom because they never fight alone, which will use many underhanded tricks as possible to avoid any situation that's remotely fair. Smash.
Obvious smash. Yes, obvious smash on basically every level. She could be taller, though. 177 centimeters is a bit disappointing for this kind of character. That should at least be like 190, at least. Still, smash. Kingdra. In the rare event that a Seadra encounters a scale from the Grand Triumvirate, they can absorb the power and become what is known as Kindra. This change gives them arm-like appendages that their sisters lack, as well as power-rivaling legendary dragons. As Seadra aren't particularly common in the oceans, and scales from the Grand Triumvirate are even rarer, there are very few Kindra in the world. One of the few Kindra we can find acts as an advisor and guardian of Luigi's residence at the Whirlpool Island, which is named after the Kindra's defense of the island. Kingdra gain a great deal of power from the scale they absorb, and are able to shape whirlpools, storms, and tidal waves with ease. From testimony we obtained, it's actually harder for Kingdra to hold back their abilities than to utilize them. As such, most take passive positions in the world in a sort of retirement for the safety of others and themselves. While the Musu is incredibly rare, its striking appearance and propensity to look morose has inspired many legends of teary-eyed damsels that mourn shipwrecks and naval battles. While they can get emotional at such things, many of the tales are grossly exaggerated. Smash.
Smash.
Oh my god. The long-nosed tribe.
Oh my god. How do I pronounce that?
The long-nosed tribe? You can try Jewish.
Shut up! Shut up. Is the P silent?
No, the J is pronounced.
Arch. Shut up. Is it Hampy? Hampy? Whatever. At the foothills approaching Mount Silver, one can find coliseums full of Panpy. Fanpy? I'm getting mixed signals here. It's now Fanpy. Find coliseums full of Fanpy, engaging in rollout battles throughout the day. This involves the Musu using their exceptional flexibility to curl into a ball and barrel towards one another at high speeds. When the Panpy successfully pushes the other Musu or Musus out of the ring, that Panpy is the winner. While it's a fun competition for most humans to watch, Panpy takes these matches much more seriously, and large portions of Panpy society are decided by these results, including things like legal disputes and leadership position. Okay, I like that. Despite spending so much time rolling around a dirty arena, Panpy loathe being dirty. All arenas are equipped with elaborate bathing areas to ensure that contestants will be able to get pristine as soon as possible. Villages with large Panpy populations usually have robust bathhouses or hot springs as well. Most Panpy that compete will put together elaborate costumes when in the ring and even take on larger-than-life personas when doing so to earn the favor of the crowds as they compete. While not technically necessary for victory, Panpy appreciate winning with audience approval more than simply winning. Smash.
Pass.
Flexibility arch.
I will never subject myself to the long-nosed Pokemusu.
Oh my god. Arch, think of the flexibility. If she can roll herself into a ball and fling herself at high speeds, imagine the positions you could put her in.
If Ben Shapiro's sister could not make me bow down to the long-nosed Pokemusus, neither can this one.
Oh my god.
Pass. Donphan. When a Panphy attains the rank of champion for a length of time, they can eventually become a Donphan, a title derived from Don combined with Panphy. A Donphan is much like a Panphy, though the tough skin on a Donphan has thickened significantly to become more like armor, and some gain potent protrusions atop their heads as well. As champions of the ring, they take rolling battles extremely seriously and will only match with contenders if they view as being close to their skill level. Low-ranking contenders that attempt to challenge Donphan will be met with a stiff and magnitude stomp to humble them and then be promptly ignored. Before entering a bout, Donphan will agonize over every part of the arena being perfectly prepared, even scattering salt by hand to ensure the ground is sufficiently dry. Most Donphans say this is because they rarely get a chance to bout anymore, so they wish for the match they do engage in to be as immaculate as possible. When a Donphan enters the ring, they unleash their full potential. The impact from their rolls can collapse stone walls with ease, and then forcefully breaking can cause aftershocks that can be felt miles away. Pass. It's still the long-nosed tribe.
Oh my god. Porygon 2. In ancient times, there were abundant Musu that build great societies called Porygon.
Ignorant.
And now there is but one left to our knowledge, or none, I should say now, because she's recently acquired an artifact from the times of Testament and transformed into Porygon 2. While the name is a bit strange, she insisted that it has great cultural significance, that we should use it for records. The Porygon 2, named Polygon, informed us that the artifact used to Ardent Shifter is referred to as a divine discus. These artifacts allow Porygon 2 to control an even greater amount of mana as they could before, and also utilize it in different ways. Polly informed us that the particular artifact she used is fairly low grade, and that she seeks stronger ones to improve her further. Porygon's abilities had a cap of 160,000 surfaces that they can create and manipulate. Porygon 2, however, are able to handle more than 50 times that amount, allowing them to create more rounded constructs to traverse the world with. Since Porygon 2 still lacks a sense of touch on their own, the more advanced constructs help her greatly. She even says that clipping through objects is much less common for her now. Smash.
That's just an elf in a gimp suit. And I've never been a fan of gimp suits, generally. Like, I just imagine the Ginsoops get, like, soaked through with sweat and blood and stuff and piss and urine, and it's just not... It's not appealing. Imagine cleaning a gimp suit. Oh, you're just washing out pellets and pee, cum, blood, all of this shit. Oy.
Lucky for you, that's just your skin.
Which returns us to the question, LumLum. How do you get blood out of a fursuit?
I don't know.
Lumi loves feet. Hail art for Lumicast. I'm on work travel again, so can't watch live. I assume Lumi'd be being degen again. Smashing anything with the feet. True. He does that. We really do need to come up, chat, with the how to get blood out of a fursuit question, because that is something that continues to bedevil me even to this day.
It's probably the same as getting blood out of a carpet.
And Mr. Twisted Frenzy, smash and pass aside, I'd play a Pokemusu game if for no other reason than that I really like these designs. Doom Eternal Fund. Well, you can. It's called Monmusu Quest, and it's basically that. It's basically exactly that. Sort of. Kind of. In a way. Stantler. Many remote forests of Johto region woefully unmapped even as navigation techniques advance. This is primarily because of Stantler, who reside in said forests, who use illusion magics to trick travelers into wandering in circles and away from their territory. When asked why they do this, they simply reply that cartographers have no need to map their backyards. Stantlers are a solitary Musu that typically dwell alone in remote areas. Though the Musu do communicate with one another and maintain a sisterhood through mirror communication magics, the eldest of the sisterhood is given the rank of Yama-uba and is respected by many of the region. It is difficult to confront Stantler in any direct manner, as they usually only show themselves to people they want to see, and those that go into their territory with malicious intent tend to go missing. We presume that the Musu has great expertise in psychic magics from folklore, but the women themselves claim their skills aren't anything special and are merely something to do with their ornate horns. Despite their humble nature, the Musu does take great pride in their horns, and will decorate them frequently, though only tastefully, that is, and in their words, not like a garish panfey. Smash. You could grab onto the giant protrusion on their rear end as a anchor point.
I said smash already, so. Smeargle? Smeargle. Yes, I think. That sounds too close to Smeagol, but whatever. Smeargle. Among nearly every noble's lordship, one can find at least one Smeargle painter. This is because of the Musu's unique physiology that lets them produce a paint-like substance from their body, as well as the Musu's primary residence being so close to the Alpha Institute, the most prestigious art school in the Johto region. The pigments that Smeargle produce are based on the Musu's mood, with the reds being produced in agitated states, yellows and anxious ones, etc. Smeargle refer to this ichor, whatever, as blood, even though it isn't blood, as we've tested, and that it's a different substance. It is, however, important that for the Musu's autonomy, as running low on pigment can cause lethargy and even fainting. While many mysteries of their paint eludes us, we do know that it does have mana inside it, and if focused, can be used to replicate spells. In fact, nearly all spells can be replicated with a Smeargle's ink. Some powerful Musus caught wind of the particularly creative Smeargle, who were using ink to replicate their abilities, and declared it to be sacrilegious, and will be met with extreme punishment. However, the Almighty herself does allow Smeargle to cast her judgment, as she finds it amusing. Smash.
Pass and genocide.
What do you mean? Is it because
Genocide.
she paints? Okay, but imagine, Arch, imagine. A Smeargle goes to art school. She fails. What happens?
Pass and genocide, because the name sounds an awful lot like Smegma Golem, and I don't like the idea of a Smegma Golem.
Oh my god.
Turogu. Cantonian researchers mistakenly assume that Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee appeared from the ether when they both came from the Musu Turogu. Said Musu are avid practitioners of martial arts of various types, and depending on the type they specialize in, they can undergo an ardent shift into Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan, and Hitmontop. Generally, Tiro focus on fundamentals for their training, primarily their stances, basic strikes, as well as practical grabs and counter grabs. This is because regardless of what path they choose, all of their traits will be important to master. Tirog will often form and participate in dojos near human societies. These dojos are particularly inviting to humans, so their martial arts are effective regardless of muscle mass and strength level, since it focuses on exploiting flaws in an opponent's psychology rather than brute strengths. There is a perception that Tirog are powerful and that they're merely a starting point for their mightier sisters. This isn't the case, however, as while Tarog's strength aren't as flashy as other Musus, they are still perfectly capable of using holds and grapples to incapacitate supposedly stronger fighting Musu. Smash.
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 Hitmontop. When Trigo, whatever, sets out to achieve perfect balance and succeeds, they undergo an ardent shift into Hitmontop, while their sisters Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee focus on punching and kicking predominantly. Hitmontop is focused more on techniques centered on spinning and other unpredictable movements rather than part of their body. In ages past, the Nocturnal Blight had captured a group of humans to use them as servants. A group of Hitmontop found out about this and had managed to teach a number of their techniques to the humans without the Dark Musu's knowledge. Said techniques resembled dancing, and the humans were able to practice it in front of the Blight without them realizing they were actually learning a martial art. So it's just breakdancing but fighting. Got it. After training enough, the humans use said techniques to pummel the Blight into a mist-like state and escape. Hitmontop's martial prowess goes without saying, but they also possess a unique talent for removing harmful debris from spike attacks used by Scarmoni, Gligar, and the like. Gligar, whatever. Because of this, Hitmontop are often called in the event of these attacks. Not to fight back, but to help get innocents to safety. Smash.
2 male. Pass. Smoochum. Kiss, Pokemusu. Many distant forests in the frigid north of Johto are classified as forbidden, and even the bandit group of Sneasel will steer clear of them. This is because of customs informing travelers to be wary of Smoochum groves, as the Musu are peaceful when left alone but quickly become attached when in human presence and undergo a frighteningly ardent shift as well. Said ardent shift transforms Smoochum into Jinx, which Johto researchers originally thought to be a dangerous, but upon meeting with Cantonian scholars have found them to be unlikely to harm others unprovoked. However, this news is only reaching the shores of Johto, and society is taking time to come to understand the Musu's innocence. Researchers show that Smoochum can't talk, see, hear, or smell their environments, though they can perceive physical presence when touching them, especially with their lips. With limited communication with the Musu, it is not currently known what exactly the Musu is touching when in contact with people. Some think it to be the soul, while others think it's body heat, but either way, physical contact with humans will cause Smoochum to become stimulated and seek to be more human-like. An endless fellatio machine. Smash, obviously.
Smash. Elect kid. Names are hard. Much like Tyrogue, Cantonians were perplexed to find a predecessor to Electabuzz. Then Musu they dubbed Elekid, yeah. Elekid, the name Elekid resents aren't at all children. For reasons beyond our understanding, Elekid have struck more struck more than far more understandable micro-electro-infantilibus whatever. Though the simplicity will use the term elect kid. Said Musu are generally rambunctious and chaotic group of Musu that are fascinated with the rush they get when acquiring electrical mana. Because of this, the Musu tend to carry makeshift lightning rod spears and follow thunderstorms that travel the lands, hoping to get a jolt or two along the way. Some industrious elect kid figured out that their bodies can convert nearly all forms of mana into electrical mana, and have started stealing equipment from traveling mages and other mana-rich trinkets to aid them in getting the drive to their motors they so desire. More experienced elect kid can charge their physical attacks with electricity as a way to pack an extra punch. Though aside from that, most of them aren't that much dangerous than any other bandit with sticks. Smash.
Smash, albeit slightly hesitantly.
Is it because they like getting struck by lightning?
Yes, I don't like that. Live coal, Pokemusu! The thing that Santa leaves in your stockings if you're a bad boy. Legends say that when the Almighty tore the earth asunder, birthing the Continental Queen and the Duchess of Heat, Magby also came into being. The small Musu love high heat and tend to dwell around volcanoes. The energy of the planet's depths makes the Musu rather hyper, and they are often easily amused by the wonders of the between. That's their name for the lands above the magma caves and below the clouds. It's sort of between earth and sky. The absence of heat makes Magby ill relatively quickly, so they can't travel far from their settlements, though they still like to make day trips to nearby human villagers to assist them with odd jobs. Primarily, these jobs involve helping people with cooking and cleaning, with the latter being an unusual passion for many of the Musu. When asked why, they most responded that their volcanoes clean themselves most of the time, and they want humans to experience the same fastidiousness. Many are capable of mustering fire magics into attacks, but rarely find opportunities to do so, as their homes are rather remote and their relations with most humans and Musu are rather excellent. Magby can be rather rambunctious with others, but generally get along with those with good nature. Smash, definitely. A bit, heat-resistant potion first, but definitely smash.
Yes, I agree. Miltank! Centuries ago, when Cantonian sailors first discovered the lands of Johto, they'd get into skirmishes with soldiers there and almost always lose. This is because after getting injured, Johto troops would simply drink a bottle of Moo milk and be brought back to perfect health. Said milk is produced by the Musu Miltank and is one of the wonders of the world. To explain briefly, the milk produced by Miltank contains a rare restorative mana that, when ingested, will seek out damaged tissue and fix it within seconds of swallowing. It also contains nearly all nutrients when required for an entire day in a small bottle. The quality of milk is determined largely by the happiness of the Miltank themselves. As such, all Miltank are revered and cherished in their communities as leaders. Most often, they're referred to as community mothers. For all the care they put into providing their community with wondrous milk. When Miltank are in a bad mood or feel ill, their milk becomes sour and lacks magical effect, meaning communities will do everything they can to please their Miltank. The thought of a pure Miltank fighting is profoundly absurd. Such a gentle soul will likely weep in such a stressful situation. Smash.
Yeah, we should indeed take better care of our milk tanks. Behold the milk tank, Monmusu. The only truly popular Monmusu, I believe. Smash, definitely. Blissey, happiness, Pokemusu. The local druggie. The local drug pusher, more correctly. Rumors circulate that the iconic Chansey has an ardent shift that's particularly potent. While Chansey's eggs are an excellent panas for physical wounds, their ardent shift Blissey creates eggs that can affect the mind as well. And a vivid image of this woman shitting eggs into a man's mouth just appeared into my mind, and I didn't like it very much, honestly. While soothing manic, distraught people is a good thing, this effect doesn't only affect those experiencing turmoil. Indeed, the effect of the egg can and do put a sense of ease on anyone that ingests them. Rumors state that powerful officials sneak small amount of those eggs into the food of citizens to ensure their compliance and to prevent potential protests and riots. While many rumors circulate about the Musu, few have seen them, and official governing bodies claim they have no knowledge of them. Because of this, many consider them to be hoaxes, and those who speak of them to be crackpots. Most individuals who claim to have encountered a blizzy in person have taken extremely ill or have died. Many suspect this is due to toxins, and some witnesses even claim to have been poisoned by the Musu. These witnesses all state the Musu had a joyful demeanor when meeting them, but that when the blizzy smile never reached their eyes.
Smash.
I don't like the whole shitting eggs into a man's mouth thing. I don't like that. It feels wrong. It feels very wrong. It feels very wrong. Tremendously wrong.
Howard.
A whole new term to the word sucking eggs. No, pass.
Howard. Is it Raikou? Raikou? I think. I don't know. In ages past, when the sky still clung with the almighty scent of creation, Manamusu produced a great tower of brass and wood to honor the soulful one and myself. It was good, but attracted jealousy from lesser beings who sought to crumble it with fierce lightning. When the structure was struck repeatedly and the storms began to rain, out came 3 souls to right this great wrong. The first was the master drummer, who possessed great bravery and ran inside to free those trapped within the structure. Their quick thinking and stunning courage saved many lives and cost them their own. Such bravery inspired even myself, and I delivered them a new birth as Raikou, I think, yeah. Raikou the Fierce. I found it appropriate that the one who braved the storm to become its master. Now they protect Johto's skies and deliver judgment to those who would interlope our beautiful lands. Their drums were inspiring before and even greater now. A single strike can call great thunder, and a roll can bring a mighty hurricane. Their quick thinking was impressive before, and now they can outrun lightning itself. I'm proud to call them the first of Johto's guardians. I write these words in gold, for they are as true as can be. Behold their radiance as you learn what is, was, and will ever be.
Pass. I don't want to fuck a cat either.
You said that you would smash the deer earlier.
Yeah, that was a deer. I can fuck a deer. Oh, this is an entirely internally consistant position. I won't fuck a cat. I will fuck a deer.
Sigh. You smashed Espeon and Umbreon. They're cats.
No, they're more like dogs.
They're cats!
Nah, they're more like dogs.
Oh my god.
Ante. In ages past, when the terrain of Testament was not yet cool, Man and Musu forged a great tower of brass to honor the soulful one and myself. It was immaculately crafted, but attracted jealousy from Cantonian fool who sought to destroy it with their lightning magic. When the structure was struck and fires began to rage, out came 3 souls to right this great wrong. The second was the local smith of great renown and strength. As the structure began to crumble, they ran inside and used their great power to keep the tower upright long enough for the innocents inside to escape. Such tenacity inspired even myself, and I delivered them a new birth as Entei the Fierce. I find it appropriate that one who withstood the fire and the flames to now guide them instead. Now they project Johto's lands and deliver retribution to those who would invade our glorious lands. Before they needed a powerful forge to smelt their wares, but now they can produce a heat stronger than any forge that exists. They continue to create powerful weapons for our greatest warriors, but also join them on the battlefield. Pass. Too much animal ass again.
Smash. I already loved and adored Entei in the third Pokemon movie. I'm obligated to keep appreciating Entei even in this.
Too
Smash.
much animal ass.
This Sween, I think that's it. Yeah. In times long before yours, when the terrain of Testament was still damp with breath of life, the people of Johto, you know what, that word, the first thing is just still the same. As those who would become Entei and Raikou went forth to save as many lives as they could, the third stepped forward to stop the suffering at its source. This wise and swift water Musu went forth to extinguish the flames that would snuff out the lives of those inside. This quick thinking prevented the Inferno from taking the rest of the countryside with it, nearly at the cost of her own life. I realized her wisdom is too great boon to Johto to lose, so I moved quickly to save her and empower her to become Siswain. With my radiance, I gave her even greater control of the rains and streams. At a simple touch, she can remove all impurities from waters, and her voice can soothe the raging storms. The above description is from the Radiant One of Siswain's origins, as well as their abilities. Smash.
That's more of like a cheetah thing, so that can be Smash. Yes, I can fuck a cheetah.
Oh my god.
I can see it. I can see it. Larvita! In ages past, it is said that the world was ruled by wicked and powerful Musu, one such being Tyranitar, and their predecessor Larvitar. Their entry is about the latter, which, small in size, they can gain power quickly from absorbing magics from the world around them. After obtaining enough energy, they'll become a transitional Musu to incubate before transforming into the armored tyrant they're feared as. Due to the power of Tyranitar and the fear of them subjugating those around them, the Almighty, with the support of the Radiant and Soulful One, have exiled the bulk of the population to the distant reaches of the archipelago. Now they live in a rocky cave system that have comparatively smaller magics in the environment. This makes it more difficult for them to hoard power and undergo their ardent shifts. Though they still continue to do so by consuming the minerals around them, what their society looks like, it is difficult to measure as they are suspicious of outside snooping around their territories. While they're weak compared to their full potential, a Larvita is not to be taken lightly. They can still pack a punch even at their diminutive stature and rarely hold back against others. Rumors also states some gather magic by ingesting man and Musu alike. Pass and genocide.
Jeez. Coward. Smash. Pupitar? Like, pupa in tar? Or pupi? Pupa? Pupi. Poopy. Pupi. Pupitar. Once a Larvitar acquires enough magics to make their transformation, they form a sort of cocoon-like state to allow themselves to wash in the energies without interruption for approximately 55 days. After this period, they emerge as a fearsome Tyranitar. While some debated that existing for only for 55 days is too short of a time for Pupitar to be classified as a sentient Musu, its biology is wholly unique in some Musu like Kakuna and Metapod can exist for shorter periods than 2 months. Before the shift, Pupitar try to find secluded locations to avoid potential interruption of their change. These places they call shifting grounds, which are often deep in caves far from human and Musu settlements. If a Pupitar is found, they can use their magics to float and flee. Or, if confronted with violence, they are capable of manipulating earth proficiently. Most often, they'll do so by collapsing the cave they are inside with them in it. This tends to kill whatever is going after them without damaging themselves, as their rock armor protects them well. This intimidates all but the most foolish of adventurers to keep clear of them, as few can survive a mountain falling on top of them.
Pass and genocide.
I'll have to pass just because I don't want a mountain falling on me.
Pass and genocide. Tyranitar. Ooh. Once a Pupitar has collected enough energy, it shifts into the Musu of infamy, Tyranitar. After festering in their own anchor for such a long time, they emerge furious and ready for revenge against those who slighted them. Most Tyranitar in modern times seek to harm the Soulful One, as she helped Arceus seal their power away long ago. Every recorded instance of a Tyranitar has been them born enraged and completely unwilling to de-escalate or talk, which just makes them a regular woman, really. Which makes them understanding them so surely extremely difficult. We believe this is due to the massive amounts of female inside of their bodies. The amount of raw power within Tyranitar makes them difficult to approach, as the magic radiating of them shear away nearby rock and soil, creating massive dust bowls and sandstorms wherever they go. These sandstorms make the moose easy to track, as they can be spotted from miles away, but consequently even more difficult to deal with, as not only do the storms cause injury, but also disrupt many magics that enter its radius. Only the strongest adventurers are willing to brave the destructive might of a Tyranitar's earthquakes and gnashing teeth. Smash. Mom cut
Hello?
out again.
I said smash!
Did you now? Did you though?
Yes, I did. I did.
Very well. You're allowed to say that.
Lugia. Dear people of Johto, after decades of leading our proud people, I regret to inform you that I shall step away from this position. While I appreciate the drive and passion and hope of those that have followed me, I cannot in good conscience continue to work in the matter I have when my passive influence on the world is so great. Even minor actions from myself have led to disasters across the world's ecosystems. The magic imbued into myself can easily induce storms, aeroblasts, and worse. The Almighty sought to imbue myself with 3 primary magics, which are too many for any Musu to possess. As such, I will seclude myself to the outskirts of the region where my impact on the natural world can be minimized. However, in times of great strife where the world may turn to ash, I shall return and protect this beautiful nation and its wondrous people. No scrupulous power shall harm these lands as long as I live. Before I take my leave, I wish to thank those who have helped pave this nation's future. Where once we had little, with those with progress in their hearts and ingenuity in their bones, have helped us achieve so much so fast. Let us go forth into the future for ever forward. Lugia's resignation speech.
Obvious smash. She's huge and perfect.
Smash.
Ideally, a woman should be like 2 times the size of the male. Preferably maybe 3 times, okay? That's the ideal, and everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. Blaystone, cursed idea of the day. A planet with the Pokemusu transport discovered in the world of 40k. Does humanity stand a chance? Does it foes? What happens when the Inquisition discovers them? Homestuck Fund. Because you will immediately love Veriska. Honestly, most of the Pokemusu aren't that powerful. There's just a few of them that are interesting. Ho-Oh. On your concerns, ye noble souls, let glory be what stills you this tumultuous dawn. It's understandable that you have many concerns over the departure of our soulful keeper, though don't be lost in despair. There's merely a brief leave of absence so she may situate herself more effectively. Our beautiful archipelago has not lost its soul. We'll merely be going into a sort of winter. Much like how the sakura blossoms shed in the cold and are reborn in the new spring, we too will be entering a cold period without my dear sister. However, I have firm faith that this cold will end sooner than we think, and even if you shiver in this cold, know that our champions of gold and myself shall fulfill my sister's duties until that spring comes. Rest assured that our archipelago shall shine today, it shall shine tomorrow, and shine further still. Let us all work together so we may weather this winter and welcome a heartfelt spring. Ho-Oh's speech after Luigi's departure. Ho-Oh is currently head of the Johto Archipelago. Some of her priorities include protecting natural sites and maintaining the unique culture it has acquired over its vast history. She can sometimes be considered old-fashioned and slow to embrace change. Slightly smaller than her sister. Inferior. Still
larger than you.
Inferior. Smash, hesitant smash, dubious smash, second grade smash.
How do you pronounce this one? Celebi, I think, yeah. In the time of yore, long before the world's core, but after darkness's door, there was me. The Almighty didn't anticipate me. I was merely a sliver from something else she cooked. And down on me she looked, obviously shook and said, "I don't have a place for you, small one, but I can make one." To which I said, "Don't exert yourself, I can find a time instead." So I did. Would have been like 14 or maybe 140 turns later. Either way, it was a good time. Mighty relaxing until that prince showed up with his flute. He did his best playing, but was clearly new to it. Cried to me that some princess won't even look at him if he's this bad. So I tell him to get it together and practice. He says he wants to go the route of getting possessed by dark forces to get better instead. That ain't how it works, and I tell him that, but he tried anyway, and I had to burn it out of him like the sun melts. Ice? Fuck if I know. He mumbles his apologies and says he'll actually practice, and I promise to return to check myself. Some weeks or decades later, I come back and he's pretty good. I tell him as such and ask how the princess thing went. He shook his head and said he didn't practice for her, but for me. Which, golly, ain't that just sweet.
Man,
Smash.
pass. And I believe that is the last one. As it is indeed.
Oh, just in time for me to get ready to go to work.
Putting in another shift at the steel mills, producing more hard metal for the laborers of America.
Hey, this weekend when I work, I'm getting paid triple time, so that's gonna be fantastic.
Oh, you shouldn't leave. You should just stay there, sleep there, live there.
No.
But, Lum, triple time.
Yeah, that's only during the weekend, because it's Easter weekend.
That's right, it's Easter. Jesus was born today.
Not today. Friday is Easter.
Okay. Jesus was born on Friday. Remember
also,
to celebrate...
Jesus wasn't born on Friday?
Well, you just said Jesus was born on Friday.
Easter was what? Like, Easter is... what was it? Fucking crucifixion. 3 days later, he rose again.
Okay, well, that's basically birth.
Christmas is his birthday.
No, Christmas is the day we give packages for no particular reason.
Oh my god.
Stupid.
Sunday is Easter? No! Shut up! Whatever. Easter is always on a Sunday. Jesus died on Friday. He rose on a Sunday. Whatever. Anyways, I gotta go get ready for work. 'Twas fun.
Have fun at work, Lum, and try not to get yourself dead, or anybody else dead for that matter.
Fine, I guess. Alright. Bye, guys. Behave. Yeah, whatever. Alright. Bye, Archly. Let me know how the updated cat model is.
Lum. And for the rest of you, thank you very much for watching the Pokemusu Smasher Pass. Hopefully the last of its kind. Unless we move on to Digimon now, and... I mean, the Digimon will just be pass, and then one smash in and of between. If anything, that's probably going to be a significantly less degenerate rare list even than this one. Until then, chat, thank you all very much for watching, and I hope to see you all again very soon, as we've got the Feral Historian on Stamford Bridge this week, and that, I believe, will be quite a lot of fun. So do remember to check out Arch and Sargon on Thursday.
Yellow mare's
Till then, chat,
fluttery bud.
have a very happy-dappy day. Oh, and no one! Arch is correct. Christmas is an inferior rebanding of the old Yule Fest. Correct, indeed. Good night, chat. Sleep tight. And don't vibrate too much tonight.